Yo, yo, you know what it is? Indicted TV. Go ahead, wife.
Hey guys, welcome back to Visitation Hour with Negra. But today we have Hector.
What up?
But before we start, you already know I got to give a shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey, Keep It Hard, also for the best jewelry, for his glory, for some fire, Cali Plug, and Fatima's Grill in Paramount.
As you guys may or may not know, Fatima's Grill is undergoing some construction because they were heavily vandalized. So make sure you guys check out Tacos Las Hueras.
Yes, and also you guys, my outfit, Shaka everything today.
Yeah, of course, shout out to Shaka. Make sure you guys check out shakaware.com for all your streetwear essentials. Give them code NEGRA20 and you'll get 20% off, especially off them fire essential hoodies that they got out right now. But
Hmm.
today, in case you guys do not know, our guest did 16 years in the prison system um, as a lieutenant.
Do you want to tell them a
Yeah,
little?
give him a recap.
Yeah, give
Tell
us a
him,
little recap.
summarize your story, sir.
Summarize my story.
He's like, dang.
Well, I joined the California Department of Corrections at the age of 22 in the year 2006. Went to the Level 4 Academy in Stockton, California. I say Level 4 Academy because at the time they were doing Stockton and Galt, the regular one.
But it's an actual academy for you to be able to be a CO on a level 4 yard.
That's what I
No,
was
we
about to
call it we
say.
call it Level 4 Academy because it was in an old females prison that was closed down, so we
Ah.
slept in the cells.
Oh
Oh, oh
shit.
shit.
Cell 236. Yeah, so some people had a hard time with sleeping in a prison. I had already came from the military and been in jail
That's a
prior.
barracks as far as you're
Yeah,
concerned.
yeah, it's a bed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
It's a
like, dang, you
bed.
guys really
So
practice for,
so we
training for.
were going to school and the education. Yeah, like it was a prison.
So it's like you guys were literally training in the prison, literally.
The good thing about that is when we would train like with the 40 millimeter less lethal and cell extractions, we actually had cells. I mean, it's a freaking control booth, so it's good training.
That
It's
is definitely
realistic.
true. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing, and I had never mentioned that before. That was Stockton.
Is it still open?
No, they built that new Stockton CHCF right next to it. Now,
Okay.
the new medical facility.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's funny. Oh, actually, I can't even say that story because that interview hasn't came out. It's gonna come out this weekend.
Generalize it.
Okay, so it's a lady though, and she spoke about it, but she was incarcerated in the 70s and 80s
Wow,
and 90s.
that's old school.
Actually, she's been incarcerated from the 70s until 2016.
Yes.
She's out
Not
now.
not one whole stretch, but very
Yeah,
very
I can't wait for you
frequent.
guys to see her episode, you guys. Well, I don't want to talk about that. She just mentioned Stockton.
That's
Yeah.
Sunday. That's
So
Sunday.
yeah.
So you have the juvenile facility. In the middle was that female prison, and then now is a new one. So it's in the middle.
Mm. Oh.
And they were using that for alarm response, which is you learn how to put out riots and stuff like that. But good thanks to Newsom, he shut that down, saving money by knocking out the training. So they're gonna
Dang, that's
close down
pretty
that.
scary, huh?
It is what it is. I'm not surprised. That's another reason why I bounced.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about yourself for the people that don't know. Because we have 220
Dang,
viewers right
that's
now.
a
Dang,
lot.
everybody came out for
That's
you.
a lot.
Dang.
No, that's good. Thank you guys. Yeah, 16 years. Started at Centinela State Prison, level 4 GP, Charlie Yard. That's the best. Level 4 GP is the best because they don't play around. They don't BS.
Okay, so everything's kind of smoother.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean it's grown man's rules and respect, mutual respect and even the incidents. I mean the incidents are violent with knives and stuff like that, but it's almost like autopilot. It's always like the same, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You can start going to other facilities and adding mental health. It goes wild. It goes crazy. Um, then I promoted to sergeant at Donovan. That was a mistake
Why do you say it was a mistake?
because that's when it adds the mental health part of the prison. So you're working like in a psych ward. Like I could
Oh.
compare it to a psych ward. I mean, you got the schizophrenic people. You got the people that had like that smoked too much and were stayed up in the clouds. You know what I mean? As they say, you just
Mm-hmm.
got some. You got some wild. It's wild. It's more dangerous because they just assault you for no reason.
Man.
Um, and then promoted to lieutenant. And that's when I started getting into the administrative side of the house and seeing what the higher ups were doing. I kind of always had a hunch, but it's like, hey, when you start seeing what's really happening, it's like that's when I saw it, and I'm like, I saw, I saw way too much stuff for my liking, and I bounced.
Definitely worse than the inmates in different
Oh,
forms.
100%, definitely by far, yes,
Wow.
yeah, because number one, they shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, it's like, hey, you have the power, like you're abusing your power. You have this power, and you're exerting it in a negative
Mm-hmm.
manner. And trust me when I say we tried everything, and I say me and my coworkers, we tried doing the formal complaint process. We tried this was a joke, our own OIA, Office of Internal Affairs, because now that I'm out, I see how high the corruption goes and who's all involved in the corruption, to include, some federal agencies, literally. So they're
Mm-hmm.
all in bed with each other.
Yeah.
But you don't know that when you're an employee. You think, hey, maybe if I file a complaint with the EEO, there's a chance that they'll help me.
And they're probably like,
Or,
throw this in the trash.
no, they
EO is
should
executive officer.
are equal opportunity.
Okay.
It's like if you have a complaint while you're at work.
HR.
Yeah.
HR.
HR. That's
But
what I
in
was going to say
turn,
right
they'll
now.
just go and show the boss, like, hey, look at one of your employees is ratting on you or saying this about you.
Oh,
just corruption.
dang.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you this real quick. You're not concerned about, like, when you say the shit you say, like, about like other federal,
Correct.
et cetera, you're not concerned about saying that shit
I am
about
concerned. I am concerned. I have fear. You know what I mean? I have fear
as a human
As a
being.
human,
as
yes.
a human. Okay, but I think I've already gone too far. I think I've already passed that point of no return.
You can't go back.
Savage.
And I'm not gonna go. First of all, there is no going back.
Of
Yeah,
course.
for
It's a wrap.
sure.
So I just went.
Especially with the.
Yeah, I mean,
especially-
I'm not asking you to protect the alphabet agencies. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, especially with those people.
No, you know why I have a fear? Because look at history.
Of course.
Look at other individuals that have done the same
Absolutely.
thing. They've gotten railroaded.
would you be considered a whistleblower at this junction?
I
Not
say-
necessarily.
I don't use that terminology, but I would say yes.
Well, I
I
don't know
what a
another term
whistleblower
to
is.
use.
Correct.
It's a
Yeah.
whistleblower.
Someone that kind of just exposes game after they leave somewhere.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Eric Snowden with the NSA.
Okay, yes.
There's so many whistleblowers. The Boeing. Those guys are ending up dead.
Don't say that.
It's kind of funny you say that, bro, because I anticipate them kicking in my door like any day now. Like honestly, it's just a feeling that I've
I'm
had
glad
since
we
I
got you on here before that happened.
Thank you.
So they could watch.
And we look forward to
Yeah.
phone interviewing you when you're in there.
Hey,
No, I know. Ni lo mande Dios.
Put
I'm
money
gonna
on my
pray for you.
books,
Yes,
bro.
we're gonna pray.
I'm
No,
fucking
we're gonna
around.
pray.
You should
Ni
be
lo mande
fine.
Dios. No.
Just stay live every day so that way they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, keep your shit on.
So it's broadcasted.
Yeah,
Run it up real quick.
bro.
No, but it is a fear. It is a fear, and I
It's
got a
scary.
daughter. I would never want
Yes.
to put her through that, but I look at the big picture. The big picture is like, hey, we're all gonna die. I might as well
Oh.
do something within this life that's worthwhile. Or
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
wild. We're all gonna kick the bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you were a sergeant. You started witnessing all kinds of crazy things that you thought you only saw in movies, and then what happens?
Sergeant was the sweet spot between officer and lieutenant. So I was still boots on the ground as a sergeant, still putting in work, as they say, but a lot of report writing, kind of reporting up to the lieutenant, but still, I'm in between. I'm in between the officers and in between the lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant was all, hey, sitting in your office on the computer, typing all paperwork. But then you have those conversations with the captains, the associate wardens, the chiefs, and then the warden. And then I got picked to be the crisis response team commander, which is like the SWAT team commander, and the public information officer, which is the warden's right hand man. And at that point, I mean, the first thing I said to those two was like, I said, man, I thought I was coming up to a snake pit up here. And then the female chief deputy warden laughed. She's like, why would you say that? I'm like, I don't know. That's just a perception from down there on the line. And she's like, well, yeah, that's why we brought you up so you can change that perception. But even that was
Cap, you're getting
Mhm.
finessed.
correct. It's grimy. It's like Game of Thrones. It's bad.
That's sad.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's exactly like Game
in the
of Thrones. It's
prison.
bad.
Yes.
Hey, that's so bad. Because they're supposed to be,
Well, you got to realize
respectful men of honor.
something. By that time, I was already. I mean, I'm not old. I just turned 40, but I was pretty professional. Don't want drama. I took pride in my job. you should see those higher ups talking about, hey, is so and so dating so and so as officer? I'm like, why are you asking me this?
Like, what do you
What
care?
does this have to do with running a prison or a yard?
Yes.
But
Like Super Chismoso is about everybody's life.
big time. And you can see why the prison system has failed. I mean, you got incompetent people at the top.
But the inmates are the best.
It's
I was a
it's
Super
wild.
Senora vibe right
It's
there, huh?
wild right now in 2024. It's man. The last time, I mean, they let all the death row inmates to all the main lines. That's new.
Yes,
There's
I
already
heard about
been-
that.
So let me ask you this: what was your take? Not. Oh, you know what? Let's ask this: what was the perception of the hunger strike from the guards' point of view?
That's what I was about to ask
Back
you.
in 2012,
Whatever, whenever it was.
well, I was a CO. So, and I've said this on my channel. I straight up said, they don't want to eat. Who cares? But I didn't realize the gravity of the extent of the situation, the magnitude
At that instance.
At that instant, yeah.
at that level of being a CO, right? Because that's my little picture. I have a little.
Oh,
I'm
like
not
these fools don't want to eat? Fuck them.
that easy, right? And then the sergeant calls you and says, "Hey, go into the cell, take all their food, take all their shit." Roger that, sergeant. So you're just doing pawn work. You're doing soldier
Yeah,
footwork.
and them fools are trying to have them. They need to eat so that they could get paid, or however it works. Is that how it works?
What's that?
Like, if the inmate doesn't eat or doesn't take their food, that's like bad for the prison or for like the warden.
So I'm glad you said that, because administration hates when inmates go on hunger strikes. Like that is like
The
that
worst.
is the end of the world. That is the end of the world. And I say that because I was the PIO, the public information officer, and you got to report every day how many inmates are on hunger strike at your prison. Why are they on a hunger strike? How many days they've been on a hunger strike? What is their issue? What has been steps have been taken to resolve it? So if you guys are in prison, hunger strike tomorrow, you get what you want. Trust me. And then I have
Okay, but don't start either, guys.
and then I have people tell me like, "Oh, why are you giving up game, Hector?" And I'm like, "Look, man, let the system fail. Let it fail. You got correctional officers still trying to hold on to something that's already been lost. Let the whole thing fail, and then we'll start brand new, right?"
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
So when the hunger strike, so now you gather that the purpose of the hunger strike was to get everyone out of the hole.
Out of the
Yes,
shoe.
out of the
Correct.
Yeah,
shoe.
not the hole, the shoe.
shoe.
Security housing unit. And up until then, same thing that had been said by other YouTubers and other people. They were almost like mythological individuals. Like, they say the worst of the worst, monsters, puppet masters, they're controlling everything. That was the conception. So it's like, man, why would you let them out, right? Why would you let them out? You're a young CO. What's gonna happen? We're all gonna get murdered. We're all gonna like we don't. Like,
But that didn't happen.
no, that did not happen. That did not happen, right? That was what you said about the hunger strike in 2012. Then we started getting dudes that were influential. So dudes that were maybe not at the top of their pinnacle, but maybe a couple steps down, and then they would touch down. This was when I was at Sentinella, 2013.
Oh, lit.
And you can tell you can tell they were older. Their CDC numbers, Charlie, Delta.
He means
You
C
told me to
numbers
tell
and D
you a
numbers.
story that I had never said before. This is a good time for that moment.
Yes, say it.
It was 2013, right before I promoted a sergeant. We started getting those, I call them heavy hitters, like influential dudes. Now, this guy wasn't a made dude, but I was in TTA, and this is how like mistakes happen. I mean, you're a correctional officer, mistakes happen. Right?
Yeah, you're human.
So there's 2 tanks in the TTA, which is a clinic, in Sentinella, and on the right side, and we have magnets that'll say like A for A yard or B for B yard. And at that time we had one SNY yard, which was Delta. And we had a whole tank full of inmates. Apparently they were GP on this side, and this side I didn't realize they were SNY. I didn't realize this at this time, and I pull one of those dudes, those older guys that I'm talking about, and I bring them in, and I'm escorting them, and then I unlock the thing and I put him in there. And then I locked the door behind. And I straight put this dude in a whole freaking tank with SNY. And I stopped, and then it dawned on me, oh shit. And I unlocked the door and I grabbed him, right? Because I'm pretty calm. Even when shit gets crazy, I'm pretty calm. So I'm like, calm, quiet, pull him out. And he goes, "Hey man, what are you trying to do? Set me up." I go, "My bad, dude. my bad. But he was kind of cool with it in a way.
Because you were quick.
Oh, I was super fast, right? It was like I locked it, thought, oof.
Yeah,
Because
bam.
it kind of like got silent, right?
Because those fools are
They were
probably
all
like,
staring at him. He was staring at them. And then they just, like, the sixth sense went off, like, oh, dude. And he goes, hey, man, what are you trying to do? Set me up. Like, hey, dude, my bad. I was like straight, like, I fucked up right there. But then after that, it was like cool or whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't do that intentionally.
well, no, that's intense.
But that was around that time, 2013-ish. And then I bounced over to Donovan after that.
You're like, I'm out of here.
But in that instance, and not in the instance of that major failure on your behalf, endangering one of our legends. Long story short, how was the perception amongst the guards once everyone did the exodus from the shoe though? Like now that you have everyone on the yard or whatever.
So by that time I was a sergeant at Donovan.
Yes.
And then the word was Sentinella just got 11 of them. They just got a massive influx of them. They've taken over, right? And not taken over, but hey, they set up shop. This is their home now. So I was like, okay, this is different. This is new. This is weird.
And it's safe to assume that this is on a level 4 yard.
Oh yeah, level 4. They even made Bravo Yard GP. Oh, level 4. They even made Bravo Yard level 4.
And how did they like their their behaviors as far as like, you know, the calm, like compared to the way everybody else was?
Did the yard change is what she's saying?
Did the yard change?
So, at that time, I had not been in the presence of one because I was at Donovan, but I still had connections with my friends at Sentinella, and I would talk to them on the phone and ask them, how are they like? What is it like? Right? Because I'm always going to be a master of my craft. So I always got to study, you know,
everything. Yeah.
Everything. And I got to know and I got to learn and I got to do my homework. So they're like, oh, bro, they got an entourage. There's dudes that walk around with them, like 6 or 7. I'm like, what?
Like in the movies.
I was like, bro, you know they're all strapped, right? You know they're all carrying. Like, yeah, of course, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're all carrying. But even on a level 4, everybody's carrying something. Yeah. It's mandatory. And then if you want to fast forward to when I started seeing them, oh yeah. It was I was a lieutenant at this time, and
it's safe to say you were highly respectful, right, Essa?
It's weird because you watch other people, they'll bend over backwards and they'll kiss these dudes' ass. And I'm talking about like staff members.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking like, you ain't got to kiss their ass, man. Just be yourself. Be normal. Nothing
be
changed,
you. Be you.
Right? So I was very respectful, 100%. But then again, that didn't change from any of my other.
Yeah, you treated them the
you
same.
didn't break your habits. You're just being a normal, respectful human being.
I'm gonna be honest. I treated them the exactly same way as I treated everybody else, with the exception of knowing I knew they had massive influence.
But I'm sure they're okay with that because they want to be treated normal.
We conversed, and it wasn't like no weird conversing. It was just
normal.
Hey man, I want to chill. I know you guys want to chill. Hey, we all want to chill. Cool. Have a good day. Later. And were they doing their thing? Yeah, they were doing whatever they were doing, but they were not bothering us.
Yeah, they're not causing chaos.
Nope. So you should see though, it's a trip because they do have that influence. They do have that entourage. And that entourage goes when they go, because I've seen that too when that happened.
So what does that mean?
Well, in general, like if one gets involved, everybody has to jump in. Everybody gets involved. But if you have those guys around, you asked me what changed from before they were out of the shoe to after. The intensity of like you got these youngsters wanting to make a name, wanting to look good in the eyes of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna go all in.
Mm-hmm. So that's how. As
a CO or as a peace officer, even as a lieutenant, I used to size these dudes up, the entourage, right? And it's like, man, when it kicks off, I'm gonna go after that dude right there.
You're a dick.
What do you mean? Like, because it's all gonna go, right? Everybody's gonna go.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Oh, so you already know which one you were gonna go after.
Yeah, and I think they could. And I think that they could like reciprocate it too. Like,
oh no, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, 'cause they'll be looking at me, I'll be looking at them, but everything's cool. But we're just thinking if it ever kicks off.
Yeah.
I might have even said that as a joke one time to one of them. You know what I mean?
I believe it.
Like, oh, dude, when it kicks off, like it's just me and you, he'll start laughing. Like, oh yeah, for sure, right?
That's how it goes, right?
So now you're a lieutenant. you're pushing the pencil and the papers, what have you. You're right there with the warden.
Oh,
Now
How
what?
was it working for the warden?
bad, bad, bad. I was begged to go back with the inmates and the officers.
And
It's
he just wouldn't
freaking
let you?
bad. He did after a certain point.
He's probably sick of you, huh?
A lot of bad things happened. My sister-in-law died of COVID in
Rest in
2020,
peace.
and his response was, "Bring me verification."
You're
That's
kidding.
reckless.
That's horrible, bro. That's inhumane.
And was he working or he was home?
He was working, but I had lost 2 family members in 1 week.
Oh my
My
goodness.
aunt and my wife's sister. And I texted him that night at midnight, and I was directly working for him. Hey, sir, my wife just received news of her sister passing away. I will not be in tomorrow, which would have been Friday. I may be back on Monday if everything is situated. And his response was, bring me verification for both. I just got that cell phone and I threw it. And that was towards the end of my
Wow.
Tenure.
that was towards the end. That was pushing me out the door. Stuff like that.
Just like
That's
no.
just wrong. That's
Yeah.
violent. That's disgusting.
So I know you are popular for you know, saying some unique things that have taken place in the prison system since you've retired. Let me ask you if you've ever seen the warden do anything extremely nice for staff or inmates.
What do you mean by that? Staff or inmates, like what?
I mean, just like the fucking inmate was going through some shit and he showed some leniency. I don't know, whatever fucking nice shit he did.
They're not those types of people. These people are really, I mean, I'm not making this up. I'm not embellishing what I'm saying.
No, I bet.
I mean, just imagine I mean, I've never personally met our governor, but I would imagine he has a certain demeanor or a certain style that I wouldn't really trust a dude.
Yeah.
And these are those types of people.
Like they just don't have feelings.
They're narcissistic, like egotistic. They're
Yeah.
sociopath. They don't have feelings.
Like no feelings.
Correct. There's nothing there.
Only for them, what they want. Them. Probably not even their wives
Power.
or
No,
kids.
no,
None of that.
Nothing. None of that. I seen it. I was surrounded by that.
Just all about like you said, all about their ego, their pride, what's
And
gonna.
it doesn't matter if inmates get killed, if staff members get assaulted, if it doesn't matter. But you know what really gets to them is what I'm doing. They hate their ego being
Attacked.
attacked. They
Mhm.
hate it. Like, and I've done my research how to get back at a narcissist, right? Because I like studying how to get under their skin. So what I did ultimately, I knew that it would be effective. Oh, dude, they freaking hate me. They hate me because I talk to people. I don't know how to say this, but I talk to everybody from everywhere, and they tell me, "Oh yeah, bro, we're up there with them. They hate you. They bring you up every meeting. They bring you up. Yeah,
Wow.
everywhere, every freaking prison headquarters. Like, dude,
They having meetings about you.
I wouldn't say they're having meetings about me, but I definitely get brought up. So what do I got? I got a 2-year head start on them already, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. Because the last time the first time I met you was when I think you just stopped working.
Yeah, I told you I felt like I was a culture shock.
You just stopped working.
I was
and
traumatized.
I think that was your actual first interview.
How many
with me.
months after you quitting was it you came on indicted?
Probably 1 or 2 months.
I think it was
so we
like 2
caught you
months.
fresh.
Super freshies.
Yeah, I was watching some of the clips that you posted
Today.
today on the IG, and just
Classic,
like my tone, like my demeanor. I'm telling you, I was very working in that prison system. It changes you, dude. And I didn't see
You
it
were
until-
institutionalized.
No, literally, like I didn't see it, dude. Like it's so crazy. I had to remove myself from that situation.
Yeah. Well, at least you were able to.
Yeah, I was fortunate and blessed to have the opportunity to be able to do that. You know,
Do you think those people are like that because they never removed themselves and they just.
mm,
You get
know-
what I mean?
you know, people say that they were bullied as kids. Maybe this is why they
Mhm.
utilize their power against people.
It's really true.
Well, I've been in the military. I worked in corrections, and then I talked to former gang members. It's leadership 101. You either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And there's great leaders, and like I said, in all those 3 things, there's leaders, people that have that, people that have it, right?
Mhm.
And then there's people that are evil people
Yeah.
that just no emotions,
The lifeless ones.
lifeless, and it's bad because it's dangerous, especially when you got power.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to get back at them, just antagonize their ego, air their dirty laundry, and they freaking hate that.
I mean, well, who likes that, you know?
Do you think if they could get rid of me, they would?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I asked you that because at the time I was working for that warden, I told one of the sergeants, "Do you think if he was able to get away with killing us, he would?" He's like 100%. These are the type of people we're dealing with. Like,
Because you're interrupting his program.
there it is. That's bad. That's not good.
We were going against the grain, camarada.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
That's historically not a good thing.
That's not good.
Facts.
That's the truth.
And it doesn't matter what program you're on.
But you know what's crazy is I used to be on their side. You know, I wore green. I was one of their soldiers. I used to, and they don't want to utilize me for like
Positive.
positive. Hey, man, they don't want competent people. They don't want people that know. They don't want people that know policy and procedure. They want people that don't know policy and procedure.
And they just do it. The yes, okay, yes, yes.
Do what I'm telling you to do.
The yes men.
Mix these GPs and SNYs because I'm telling you. It's like, no,
Like, yeah, you don't do that.
I'm not gonna do that. So they want. That's why the
Wait,
department.
did you ever have like a time where they told you to do that?
Yeah, I was there. 100%. I was there. I think I said it on the first.
Yeah, he
interview.
on the first episode,
I was there.
not on the first episode, on the first time he ran it with us a year ago or whatever, he had mentioned that you were there when they were trying
I
to
was there.
start the 50-50s.
I was right. They were fighting. We were right there. I was stopping them.
Oh wow.
I shot a dude in the minimum. I shot him 5 times up the leg. Boom, boom, boom. I have the 7219. Been meaning to post it. I just haven't got around to it. Boom, boom, boom. And this dude was a GP. Anyways, I hit the dude so many times in the leg. And then somehow I ended up on visiting as a visiting lieutenant. And then he was the actual visiting porter. But then again, like I said, every time I've ever used force, it's been per policy and there's no hostility. So he came up to me. I was like, "Hey, dude, my bad, right?" So I kind of try to help him out where I can. Like, hey, when we get your RVR for fighting or riding, of course we're gonna dismiss it off the top because we shouldn't ever put you in that freaking position. That's messed up. Second of all, how's the leg doing? You know? Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said it got almost infected or stuff like that. And it's like, hey, dude, my bad, dude. Like, fuck, dude, this is all stupid. But
Yeah.
as a lieutenant on the low man on the totem pole, what can you really do against a system, a
Nothing.
machine?
What are your exact thoughts on SNY inmates and how CDC treats them?
I see why CDCR is doing what they're doing now.
Which is what
Which is
exactly?
what, yeah.
They're making them pay. They're making the SNY inmates pay for doing what they did. They all crossed over and then created chaos. And it's like, okay, you guys want to be disruptive? Cool. Go get killed. I can see that.
What do you mean by go get killed?
Putting them back. They're putting them back. There's no more really requesting SNY anymore from what I've gathered.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So you can't debrief anymore.
No, you got to have like some legitimate hard.
Those fools were just doing it for drug debts.
Easily, all day long.
Hey.
Easily.
How do you view SNY inmates? Or how did you and your pals?
So, this is what I'll say. I started at Sentinella. All
Yes.
4 yards were GP. After a few years, they flipped out to yard to SNY. You know, you start talking shit. Oh, I don't want to work with them. I don't want to work with them. And then you go work out to yard. It's like, they're crybabies. They cry. They're crybabies. But this is back then. That's what we thought. Then you get you Donovan. Donovan SNYs were, man, it made those SNYs at Sentinella look like straight soldados. Like that's how disciplined, like, right? So there's levels to this game.
Yes.
There's levels to this.
Tell us about the levels.
Meaning,
Well, tell me, because
Sentinella is a good prison, right? And like
Yeah.
structured.
Uh-huh.
Those SNY inmates, in hindsight, were really not that bad. Yeah, they had bad charges, real bad charges with children,
Oh, yeah.
which I had never been around those types of dudes before. You had those types of charges. Okay, now those SNY inmates I hate, right? Like I hate.
Like from you, like.
Yeah, I can't. And then I made the mistake of reading their files.
Oh.
I made the mistake of reading a few of their files, right?
Because you're intrigued. Not
but
intrigued,
let
but
me-
like you want to know.
Yeah, because it would be no different than wanting to learn about a gang member or their past. But let me tell you, some of the stuff I read and some of the stuff I know,
Heinous.
you would never even be able to think up such a heinous thing that actually happened. And
Disgusting.
Oh,
it's not good, dude. It's not good at all.
because then you wanted to like destroy them too,
Easily.
huh?
Easily. So then I said it's changed over the years. And I think the public has a bad perception of SNY inmate sensitive needs yard because they think, oh, you're no good. You're no good because you're SNY. But believe it or not, I've worked around a lot of inmates that came from Calipat. that they strictly, legitimately got put in a bind because of dirty politics. This dude could have been the best dude at what he was doing, but because somebody strictly didn't like him, guess what? That's a wrap. It's over. So in reality, does that make him a bad person? No, because
I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah.
For sure.
So
I know what you're saying.
and I think a lot of people respect that I've come out and I've voiced that, right? Because it's like, hey, I told you, I told you I wasn't all bad. I'm like, nah, I get the game. The game is cutthroat. It's a ruthless game on both sides of the house, and that's what I keep
Yeah.
showing.
Scary.
It's cutthroat.
I told you I wasn't.
Can I ask you? This is gonna sound like super weird, but I want to know: is it possible to say that there's a stereotype for people with crimes against children? Like, do they have a certain look? Do they look like weirdos, or do
Yeah,
they look
yeah,
like
yeah.
anybody else
Old,
that you would see at
old
Starbucks?
white man or old
Mm,
paisas.
Yeah,
straight
that's
up.
so true.
Yeah, and I can go to a park and I can spot. Dude, I think I just saw one, right? Like recent, like I just get these vibes. I don't know if they're real vibes or
It's like they
not.
have a certain stare in their eyes.
Yeah, and there's times where I'll be out with my daughter and I see a dude, and then I'll pull my daughter closer and I'll say, "You see that guy right there?" I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this, but I like putting her up on game of
It's okay
awareness.
to,
Of awareness.
yeah, I think it's okay. Like you, like for like myself, we always like, oh, okay, we tell them nobody touches your pee pee. I don't care,
That
nobody.
so if we're at a park, me and my daughter are at a park, and I see an old man at the park by himself, I'll say, "Baby, come here." Like, you don't think it's weird that old man is here at the park by himself? And I'm not talking about a dude viejito reading his newspaper. I'm
Yeah.
talking about legitimate something looks out of place,
Yes. Well, you get the feeling.
right?
You get the
Um,
feeling.
so
I know what you're saying. I'm a
so
girl.
that's the
So
stereotype for sure. And then they want to play their guitar and pray Christian. And I said Christians one time, and everybody came at me. We're not all Christians are not all time. I was like, that's not what I said. I said like that's what I associated with. That's what the activities they would do in their church.
to
And then
try
I
to
would
save
and
themselves.
then I would think, oh, you're going to hell, bro. You're going to hell regardless. Like,
Yeah, that's not okay.
and I didn't like talking to those types. And they would try to get very soft spoken with me and passive, and I freaking
Because you know
hated
what?
it.
That's the behavior that they use to get what they want from the, like, hey,
That, and I
like,
think when they see a more dominant person than them, a more of a predator, right? That they get like that, as opposed to when they're the predator on a young kid. Oh, I hate that.
ah,
Oh, I hate that.
yeah, what shout out to the chat. What are they saying?
All kinds of reckless things per usual.
Are they?
Nah,
Normally they don't. Normally they're really
nah.
cool.
Shout
It
out
can
to
also be a female. Also, I never worked around the female
No,
inmates.
I think there's a lot of female predators with the young men. They just see it different. But
All
it's
those
really
school
not.
teachers. I mean, look at the news.
But
It's
it's really
crazy.
not. There's
Yeah, it's not different. It's trauma or whatever.
I mean, obviously if there's a
shout out
a
real
young man
papers.
and he's 21 and the person is 30. It's like, girl, what are you doing? But if the little fool's willing to, all right.
Yeah.
Well, there's like differences, like even if it's like a little girl, she's 21 and this fool's 30, like, okay, she's gonna get manipulated, but this fool's just like, well, what are you doing?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, my friend. Can you break down the levels that there are in prison yards, like level 1 and what it's like, level 2 what it's like, level 3, level 4?
Okay. So level 1, you walk in. It's a dorm setting. You got a dorm over here, a dorm over here. You walk in. There's bunk beds. You got tables in the middle or benches in the middle. Television sets. So they're watching
Day room.
TV. They're doing their little workouts. Showers are running constantly. It's hot and steamy in there. That's level 1. Those are your low level inmates.
How would you describe level 1 inmates as a CO?
I mean, when I think about them, I just think about them, doing when we want to talk about you want to talk about criminal stuff. I mean, smoking cigarettes in the corner, hiding pruno bags in behind the wall or in the shower area, getting backpack drops thrown over the fence. Just like little criminal shit like that. Maybe trying to get some stuff into the main prison. Maybe if they're working for somebody. Um, just it's kind of they're on their way out, so to say. Are they any less dangerous? No. No.
Okay.
No. They're all keep it's the same dude. It's the same dude that was on the level 4 yard
Made it
freaking
down.
3 months ago. You know what I mean? It's the same dude.
Ah.
It's just the level 1 facility. So level 2 would be dorms. You got the Menendez brothers, Donovan, level 2. X-rated, who I never met in person, nor did I know who he was. I might try to interview that guy too soon. That's level 2. Those are housing units, but the cells are dorms. The cells are 6-man cells. I would
Mm.
hate that.
For real.
One toilet, 6 men.
Oh,
in the-
yeah.
In the dorm.
Somebody's always taking a shit.
I would hate that. And then it's pretty free movement. You know, they're moving around, walking around, doing free movement. Level 3, GP. Yeah, you got the fences, you got the concertina, you got the electrified fence for the most part. You got a gunner in the yard. You have gunners in the control booth. You don't have gunners in the chow hall. Level 3s, it starts to get the politics. Like you start seeing, but it's more loose. It's loose, right? You see shit talking, disrespect to the cops. Not the type you won't see that on a level 4. Like they don't want to play those games on the level.
They don't
4.
got time for that shit.
Correct. No.
And all they got is time.
Yeah. So it's level 3. That's when they're making their money. Are they stabbing people? Rarely. Yes, but it's not like level 4 that goes hands
Because
down.
those fools want to go home.
I don't think it mixes on who wants to go home and who doesn't want to go home. You know what I mean?
There's
It's
some that
really a
just don't
wobbler.
care.
There's probably some people that want to go home and then they put themselves in a position where they're no longer going
Going
home.
home.
They caught a
Yes.
case or something.
A hot one, like they say.
Yeah, as they say. So it's like whether they want to go home or not, that doesn't matter. Because I said if one goes, they all go. So let's say a guy's gonna go home in 2 days and he kicks off with the COs, that dude's getting involved. He's not gonna get involved.
Yeah. Because
If I were him, I would run. I would run for safety. You know what I mean? I would personally PC up because I know the rules of the game. I know the
Dang.
whole
Yes.
picture, right? I ain't catching another sentence when I'm about to bounce in 2 days. That ain't gonna happen. So yeah. And then level 4, oof. Gunners in the housing units, gunners in the chow hall, gunners up in the observation, fences down the middle of the track separating the 2 yards, fences separating the sergeant's office, the chow hall. It's more secured and it's all stabbings.
Every day.
I wouldn't say every day, weekly for sure. Weekly for hands down weekly.
Wow.
You know why they do it? Or they used to do it. Well, I've been away from that type for a while now because when I went to Donovan, it wasn't like that. They would do it during certain days of the week, right? Because they knew visits was going to come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They wouldn't do it right before visits.
So they want to lose their
They
visit.
want to lose their visits or get slammed down.
Yeah.
So they would
So it's
do it
like
on-
Monday or
They would do it
Tuesday.
on Tuesday. And then like clockwork. Yeah.
It's just how it works, you know?
1:50 p.m., 1:45 p.m. shift change.
And you guys already knew.
Yeah, hands down.
And you could feel it obviously in the air or no?
Well, we know we knew. Sometimes you'll know because I was younger and I was not as experienced. So the OG COs would be like, "Hey, that dude's gonna get hit right now." Oh, is he? Okay, right? Yeah, don't do nothing. Just fucking stay right here, okay? Because if you're young and eager, some guys will take off running. So they'll tell you like, "Hey, wait,
Wait till it happens.
wait till it happens. Wait till it freaking like wait, and then all right, now let's go call it in."
Oh wow.
It's safety. I mean, it's safety. Are we really going to jump? I know it might be hard for people that have never worked in a prison to understand that. And probably like, oh no, you must go in there and you must save them. I don't know. That's just the way it was.
Well, you gotta save yourself first.
I didn't make that up.
No, yeah, you hadn't.
I just
those are
go
just
with
the
the
rules.
flow.
Yeah, that was your job.
Yeah,
And obviously you left it because for a lot of other reasons, you know?
yeah. But
How has it been for you since you did our podcast?
it's been nonstop. It's been all gas, no breaks. I just came back from Amsterdam because I did a documentary on my military experience, my deployment in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
So February 2025, it's coming out. So I just came back from Amsterdam for a film festival. Oh, Vlad TV like 2 weeks ago here.
How was that? You say-
Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, because right now you guys skipped a whole ass gap.
What's the
Okay,
gap?
go tell us.
So
See, that's why I like him to be
you
on.
retired
Uh-huh.
because you were sick of the bullshit
Yeah.
you were seeing. Cool. You're out for a month. Now we've somehow come across that prison guard and I ask you to come on Indicted. When you're coming to Indicted TV to get interviewed, what's your mentality for the very first time?
Well, when you told me where it was at, I was like, oh man, right? Because I avoid that place, like the town,
Uh-huh.
Why?
just because I know it can be wild. I
Yeah.
have friends like around or whatever, so
Oh,
I'm like,
okay, fair
oh
enough.
man, you know what I mean? But I did come prepared at that time, even this time.
Pretty
But
chill. We're pretty chill, you
yeah, yeah, no, I'm just saying the area, like the town, the town.
know?
But I thought it was cool, like getting a big break, or what I consider a big break. Like, hey, I'm getting some momentum, I'm getting some traction, I'm getting some eyes on me. Yeah, bro, you guys were the first ones for sure.
And from that moment, or even right before that, you already knew that what you're doing is what you wanted to do.
I couldn't have planned this far ahead. Right? I couldn't have planned this far. I could have never foreseen where I'm at today.
Yes.
I could never foreseen the massive support that I have received. I couldn't foresee that. What I did foresee was, all right, I'm gonna leave this job. I'm gonna freaking sing, sing like a canary and say what's happening out there. And let's just hope everything goes well. Let's hope I don't get got in the process.
Facts.
Let's hope um let's hope people listen. Let's
Hmm.
hope people listen.
People are listening.
Oh, people are definitely listen. And then I like helping people. Like regardless, people say, what are you passionate about? What do you enjoy doing? It may sound weird, but I like helping people. I got 13 years of sobriety. Next month, God willing, I'll have 14 years of sobriety. Before that, I was a very selfish individual. When I was drinking alcohol, using drugs, manipulating people, I was very selfish.
While you were working.
No, before
Oh,
that.
okay.
But I'm talking about, I was drinking alcohol the first 3 years working as a CO. So in 2010 is when I got sober.
Okay.
In 2010.
Got it.
So from 2010 on to when did I retire? 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I changed as a person. I matured as a person. Right. I gained the values, the ethic, the morals that I had learned in the military, and I'm no longer drinking. They say don't use alcohol as an excuse, but when I drink, I become a different person. The
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Literally, I'm an alcoholic by definition. So here I am trying to grow as a person. Here I am trying to help people, and I'm stuck in this corrupt prison system, like hell on earth. So I was conflicted, and at the same time, balancing a marriage at the time, new child at the time. So I was getting torn,
Yeah.
right?
You were
So
not okay.
no, I was not mentally okay. I was getting fatigued. I always, I always did a good job of keeping a straight face in front of the officers to not let them,
Mm-hmm.
and I was losing it. I was losing that. I was showing up like exhausted, like stressed. I couldn't hide it no more. And they would tell me too, like, you
You
good?
okay? You're like, no, fool, I'm
And I'm
fucked
like,
up.
fuck, I'm going through it right now. And they're like, we could tell.
Wow.
So my goal was to leave, to expose the corruption, and to help people. And I have been helping people in numerous ways. I help correctional officers so they don't get killed on the job, right? I help individuals that did 20 plus years behind the prison walls come out and share their story and let everybody know, like, hey, I'm not that same person as I was when I went in.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown. Hey, also, if you're in there, there's a way out. Just do the right thing and you can get out. Um, and then the family members that have so many questions and how to
Yes.
navigate that treacherous system. So yeah, I'm helping people, and God's blessing me for doing
Yes.
so.
That's right. Because if you continue to do the right thing, he will bless.
Yeah,
He
for sure.
does. He does. He doesn't let us be without.
And I don't know. I'm not a Bible thumper, but none of this. This was all by design, right? This was by His design, having me go through the military, see my friends get killed, having me become a CO, be boots on the ground, promote to sergeant, promote to lieutenant, sit in those meetings behind closed doors and see the corruption. And
Mm-hmm.
then He told me, "Hey, now's your time. Leave."
Yep. You wouldn't be able to do what you're doing now.
Correct.
And this is what, hey, it feels
And
good to you.
you know what the crazy thing is that I've grown as a person. I used to care about money at one point in my life. I used to care about, like, oh, once I make sergeant, I'm gonna be happy.
No.
Once I make lieutenant, I'm gonna be happy.
No.
Once I buy this new car, I'm gonna be happy. Once I
No.
get the house. So I used to live my life like that, chasing the next thing to try to find happiness. And to be honest with you, you'll never get there
Because that's
Never
not
gonna
what
get there.
you need to fix inside.
So I ultimately fixed inside. Now, am I perfect? No, I got character defects.
I mean, who is?
I got faults. You know what I mean? But I know that's why you guys asked me. You guys know that I separated with my wife recently. Like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing good considering the circumstances, right? Because I'm at peace with it. I'm calm. I'm sitting in the moment. I don't self-medicate anymore. Like, still don't drink alcohol. I still attend meetings. You know what I mean? So like, I'm sitting in it. It sucks. Yeah, it freaking sucks.
But do you feel better?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel better being that I get to see my daughter every day. 100%.
That's good. That's all that matters. You're okay. You're feeling more at peace within yourself,
Yeah.
which is number one. Because let's be real, like what they say, happy wife, happy home.
Mm-hmm.
That it really is true. If dad is not okay, nothing is
Well,
okay.
We'll brush the surface on this topic, but it's like I keep mentioning I'm a realist, right? I'm very observant. I see the whole thing, and it's like, okay, you're telling me you're not happy, right? I'm not happy. Okay, we have a child. She's watching us fight every day. Like, you cool with that? Like, that's it? Like, that's the
rest of the life? Yeah.
like,
yeah.
that's it. That's it. Oh, well, you know what I mean? I don't want to get into it, but it's like, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
And that works in all the ways, not just drugs.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And
I agree.
it's like, you know what? It's a toxic cycle. And unfortunately, I'm not the best decision maker. It's like I need to break this cycle. Yeah. And I broke the cycle.
Good.
Unfortunately, but fortunately at
the
the same time, yeah.
It's good. Everything is good, especially when you do it at a level-headed. Like you're not doing it.
Level-headed, 100% level-headed.
If you're doing it level-headed, you're okay.
Because I'm not out there, chasing women or chasing the bottle or doing nothing.
Exactly.
Wild.
Everything's gonna be okay. Everything is okay.
Right.
Everything is okay.
Yeah, you guys hit me up and I just rolled through. I got that time, the freedom.
Yeah, that's good.
Talk to me about the growth of your IG and your YouTube channel since you left Indicted. I'm not saying we're responsible by any means. I'm just saying since the Indicted interview, you've gone on and carried on and done some crazy things. Like you said, you've been on Vlad, you've been on multiple channels. Talk about it, brother.
California Insider was a big one. And the reason why I like doing the bigger podcasts is bigger eyes on the problem. I figure like once I let so many people know, maybe CDSR will not want to come after me. Like, damn, too many people know.
Hey, that is true.
Strategy, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, shit, we can't take him out anymore because
he'll know.
Too many people know now. He has like, witnesses, as they say. But it's I haven't taken a day off. I have not taken a day off since then. I've not taken a day off since I left the prison system. Almost 2 years, December 1st, 2022. I work on my schedule, but it's 24/7, 365.
For sure. But it's like more.
It's fun. It's me, right? It's doing what I love doing. It's being on the phone, on the computer, making videos, and the opportunities. You guys were telling me about your guys' sponsors that you guys have. It's like now I know what sponsors are. I know how they're made, like how you make networking. Even interviewing people, the network, right? The behind the scene networks. Like I love this lifestyle. This lifestyle of just chilling, hanging out with good people, talking. It's like, man, I'm sociable. Now. The prison changed me. Like it made me quiet, and I mentioned that before too.
Yes, you did.
Some people might say I'm a little too sociable.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
But you're a little too friendly, Hector.
Nah, I don't think so. I'm super friendly.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter. Like, don't be mad at me because I'm happy, bro.
Exactly.
Like, why are you mad at me? Because I'm happy, living my best life.
Exactly.
I'm happy and friendly. Because if I'm cranky, everybody knows I'm cranky.
Yeah, no.
You'll know.
I'm glad you mentioned that. People have a problem with people that are happy. It's crazy.
Like, let me just be.
The growth though, it's I don't know I don't want it to stop. I don't think it's gonna stop, right? And I'll be honest, dude. I haven't changed anything. I'm just repeating the process. Every day I'm just repeating the process.
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Don't change it.
Correct. So like, yeah, I mean, if people are out there and they want to start their own business, their own brand, their own whatever they want to do, it's like, hey, just do your thing, right? Make sure it's authentic. Make sure that it's you, because people can tell right through you if it's not authentic. and just repeat the
Like,
process.
stick to what works.
Repeat the process for 10 years and then watch the magic happen.
Yeah.
That's another thing about this journey. It's nothing happens overnight
No,
at all.
it's not easy. Like, some people are like, some people are always like, oh, go get a job, or like, you podcast. Like, you try being a freaking podcaster or interviewer. Like,
It's
she
hard.
needs to learn. Like, bro, I don't need to learn anything. I just
Right.
sit down and I just do what I do. You
No,
know?
and you can tell who has it and who doesn't. Like, you guys are doing great.
I
Like,
don't.
you know
Yeah,
what
I
I
don't
mean?
even know how I do. Sometimes
just-
I'm just like, I'm just myself, especially because I'm friendly. My words don't come out correctly. I don't even care.
You can
like,
tell who's passionate about it. Like,
yeah,
you're passionate. Like, you have
I-
to be passionate
I
about it.
like this. It's therapy for me.
That too.
And this, like, talking about this, I'm so comfortable with because of my lifestyle.
It's a unique world. Yeah, it's unique.
You
And
know, like,
that's why so many people are intrigued with prison, because the only way you're gonna ever know what prison is like is if you've been incarcerated or if you worked in one. Other than that, ain't nobody getting no access
yeah.
behind those
And,
walls.
it's like, oh, you glorify. No, I don't.
No, you don't glorify.
I don't glorify.
You don't
There is
glorify.
people that, but
Really ain't nobody trying to glorify no more, because I think the cat's out of the bag of what's happening.
yeah.
I would say what happens here on Indicted is more like a spotlight of personal experiences.
And that's what I always tell everybody.
Because
Like,
we're not highlighting fools getting booked or fools hooping or doing any crazy shit. We're letting people talk about their experiences and where it started and how it went and where they're at now.
yeah, I definitely don't ask that anymore.
Otherwise, we'd still be talking about inside prison with you and trying to glamorize.
Yeah, like, no,
that.
like, I just want to know your experience. Like, I want to know where you're at now. Even if you just barely came out, like, not you, but just in general,
So I recently went to church last Sunday with my daughter, which was kind of cool because I had not been for a long time since I've been with my wife.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying she's the reason. I'm just saying we never got around to it. Always arguing. But so I went,
Yes.
and it's kind, and again, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I do have my beliefs and my strong faith and my religion. I truly do. And it's like, they would repeat it again that, Jesus didn't go to the guys that thought they were high and mighty, and
No.
like he went to the sinners. He went to the sinners, and then he repeated like, hey, healthy people don't go to doctors, sick people do. Right? So I think that's why I like this. I believe that my purpose was to help those that needed to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then where did he put me? He put me in a prison where you got, the damned, you got the people that were put away.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, you had the ones that were on my side in suits that were more disgusting and corrupt than some of the individuals that were in our custody.
Yeah, obviously there is some that you do
Right.
need to be in prison, obviously.
Correct. So it's like, nah, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the titles, the powers, the position. A man is a man, a woman's a woman, and like, hey, it's karma, right? It's
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
I'm not saying I'm successful in what I'm doing now, but I sure haven't been having bad luck, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I credit that to how I carry myself in there, out here. It's just
You as a man.
I'm fair,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not trying to bamboozle anybody.
You're just speaking facts.
Yeah.
The real, the truth
Yeah. So
of what you saw. You're not making up stories.
I haven't made up a story.
Yeah,
I don't
you're not making up
I don't
stories.
plan on making up stories.
Let me ask you, do you have friends that are still like officers?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do they behave with you? Like, are they like, you know what I mean?
So I'll say this, dude, because my mind works in every angle, in every direction. I always try to protect people. I'm a protector. I protect my friends or people in the department without them even knowing I'm protecting them. An example would be I had a young CO reach out to me. Hey, I got 1 year in the department. I would love to come out on your channel and do an interview. I'm like, no, bro, no.
Yeah, you want to.
No, you're
gonna ruin
You're
yourself.
gonna get fired. Don't. So it's not worth it. I will never do that. You know
No,
what I mean?
you don't want to endanger him.
I even had a former warden, and he's like, hey man, I want to come on your show and I want to say everything from the warden's perspective. What you're saying is 100% true. I said, are you retired? He's like, no, not yet. I'm like, no,
Don't do it.
no, they're gonna screw you, dude. So
And they probably that certain warden probably knows that it's the truth,
yeah,
and he's probably one of the good ones.
yeah, and he will eventually chop it up because he did recently retire and reach out to me. Yeah,
Ah.
so I protect those that are close to me that are still in the prison system. Unfortunately, it's a small world, and they know who is associated with me. So yeah, they're targeting them. You know, and we kind of talked about it. Yeah, they're targeting them.
Wow.
It's like the Italian mob. I'm telling you, like, hey, you just because you're related to so and so,
You-
you got to go.
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's a, it's grimy. It's the truth.
But you know what? Like you said, karma. But
Karma.
God sees everything.
But you know
And
what?
if they don't pay, unfortunately, you know what's sad? That their family is gonna pay. Just with karma.
But I'm confused as to like, man, like these managers, like, hey, you guys seen what I'm capable of, right? I put it all on the line for what I'm doing. Like, what makes you fucking think I won't do it all over again, or even worse for those that are near me? Like,
Mm.
for myself, I could care less. I care more about other people. You know what I mean? So like, oh fuck. Like, I don't know where they get the mentality that like they think it's cool to go after the people that are close to me.
Yeah. Like
You
what?
think I'm just gonna let that
Like why
happen?
are you so sick in the head?
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like chess, not checkers. Just watching the next moves, anticipating what's next, right? And I'm patient. I'm very patient.
Hey yo, I don't got nothing but time now.
I always say I was like an inmate in the shoe, just reading my policy
Hey, it's
procedure,
so crazy because they
working
probably
out.
think that they probably carry themselves like inmates, huh?
Who's that?
The upper people. Not like
Worse,
inmates,
worse,
but I'm saying like the
worse,
way that,
worse.
like,
They'll smile to your face and then stab you in the back. That's worse. The
yeah.
fake good mornings, fake good is just disgusting. I'd rather you not. Just leave me alone. Go away, right? It's not good. It's worse. At least an inmate, if he doesn't like you, oh, we're gonna like make sure you let you know, hey,
I don't fucking like you,
I
fool.
don't like you. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Have a good day. There's nothing there other than, hey, we don't like each other.
Yeah.
The other one is like, oh, hey, come here, come closer, huh? And just stabbing you in the back. Ah, like, fuck, it's supposed to be on my side. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that's messed up.
I mean, at the time I had 12 years remaining until I turned 50 years old. 50 years old was my retirement age. But I was looking at the math. Okay, I have 16 years in, 12 more to go. My daughter's 4 years old. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Because people were getting got. People were getting fired for nothing, literally nothing, for going against the grain for sure. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. Like,
That
what
shit
do,
was destroying
I'm
you.
like, what are my days off right now? Tuesday, Wednesday, third watch, which is 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I don't see my daughter. Like this is not it. So now I'm off, 7 days a week, but I work from home on my cell phone. And going back to my marriage, that also played a major role in it. I did not communicate. I absolutely did not communicate.
Well, you were lifeless almost.
I thank you. I'm glad you see things for how they are. But yeah, I did not communicate, and I just kind of had the plan in my head and was running with it. And I guess at the time, my wife was like, "Holy shit, this dude just quit his job. Probably thinking we're gonna lose a house. Probably thinking we're gonna lose it all." But in my head, I'm like, very calm. Like, okay, I just got to keep doing this, and this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
But that I think tore us apart. The lack of communication.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it happens.
Hmm.
But you're at peace now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I am. I
Hey,
honestly
that matters.
am.
That matters more
I'm
than
not gonna
anything.
lie. I am.
That matters more than anything. Obviously, not your daughter, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
she has a healthy dad,
She does. She
and
does. She
that's like,
does.
that's everything to have a healthy
Yeah. I
mom
mean,
and dad. Like, at least not to get, yeah, it's okay. It's okay if your parents are not together.
yeah, especially yeah, it
It's
is. It
okay. Like,
is.
it's okay. Sometimes it's for the best. Most of the time, it's for the best.
But you know what's crazy? I never thought that would be me. I never thought that would be my story. That
But what
sucks.
made you think that you didn't think that was because you were like this law-abiding guy and you're just like a normal person? And
Because I'm
do you know
very
what I mean, right?
because I'm loyal.
Because
Because I'm patient in a way, right? I mean, did I flip out all the time? Yeah, but that was towards the end. Like, I didn't think I didn't think that was gonna happen to me. I didn't. I didn't. And again, I could have stayed in that marriage for sure. But then what?
yeah,
Fake pictures, like happy family.
like
I was
bro,
going over the pictures the other day and I'm like, damn,
you're
these are really good pictures. But I know,
the
I know
behind it.
behind it.
Yeah,
right? But they look good. They look like real. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm
You
like,
guys loved each other, fool.
we
Those
did.
Oh
smiles were
yes.
genuine. It's just
It
you guys
changed.
just weren't fighting in the picture.
Bro, yeah, it just changed, dude. Like, but I honestly did not think that was gonna be me. I never thought, the hell no. That's a statistic to me. You know what I mean? My parents are still together after 30 plus years. Her parents are still together after 30, 40 plus
Yeah, it's
years.
different
I
though.
thought
I
like,
feel.
yeah. Back then they didn't have OnlyFans. We have OnlyFans.
Then if you got caught up watching OnlyFans, fool.
Nah. It's just, I don't know what's going on. There's something in the water,
Nah, it's just you just don't deal with anymore.
right? Too many options. There's
and-
opportunities.
Yeah, and not even like, oh, you don't deal with. Oh, I'll go to the next one. You just don't deal anymore. Like people don't deal. Like as far as like, nah, I don't want it.
Right.
I'm out of here.
No, that's a good thing though, in a
And
way.
it's mainly because you don't need each other to survive. Before, a lot of women
So-
didn't work. So they had no choice but to stay with their man.
So,
You get what I mean?
on top of that, I'm also at peace because I did not uproot my wife and my daughter from their home, right? They stayed with the house
Yeah.
and said, hey, I'm going to pay a good portion of the mortgage so you can stay put. Because if it would have been any other way, I wouldn't have left. You know what I mean? Like if they would have had, I got my own place, they get their own place. I'm not. Then I would have suffered. I would have endured the suffering, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I saw an opportunity. I guess just like being in a prison, right? you got to make moves. You got to plan
Yeah.
ahead. You got to prepare.
It's just life, bro. It's not even
Yeah.
being in prison. It's just life. Boy, you probably put everything like in prison vibes, huh? Because I do the same thing. Like, oh, like we were in prison. This is like we would do it like this or like this.
Yeah, you got to plan,
But it's just life. You gotta plan no
Right.
matter what.
right?
You know, like we gotta plan everything. I'm just
yeah.
gonna move. If you don't tell me we're gonna do this, like I don't want to do it.
Right.
Like that's one of our things. Don't tell me we're gonna film from one day to like, oh, we're gonna film right now. I'm not doing it. Cause you're ruining my plan. You're ruining you're ruining my day.
Yeah.
And yes, I need a film because this is my job.
Right.
But bro, let me know.
Yeah. No,
So we gotta plan ahead, bro.
Communication in a relationship is huge.
Yeah.
I want to say compromise, but compromise.
You
is
need both a little bit.
too.
You need both.
I will say this: as much as I try to change, her for 17 years, man, you can't change somebody, and just like she couldn't change me.
Well, you're not supposed to change
One
the people.
person cannot change another person, and I really thought eventually, hey, man, sometimes one day you're gonna come to reason. Never happened.
Well, this is the thing. When you get with the person, you like them for who they are. And then you get with them more and more and more. And it's like, now you want to change them. Like, why you
Mhm.
want to change them, person? Like, you're like, you got me with me the way I am, bro.
Humans are
Like, now all of a
interesting.
sudden you want to change me because you don't like the way this.
Humans are interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, like my husband, like, I've changed a lot of things.
Yeah, you have to.
But enough is enough, way. Like, that's enough changing. Like, I'm not even,
No, I think we have the same personality.
like, like, enough is enough. Like, I'm
Right.
not even gonna know myself anymore. Like, but it's all like I know, like just like certain things. I don't even mean like change who I am or whatever. Like even him, like just certain things. You know what I mean? Like don't freaking, like put the seat down. Things like that. Or like me, hey, you're drinking kind of too much. Like
Yeah.
I don't even drink.
Right.
I mean, I do,
Yeah.
but not like how I used to. I don't do certain things like I used to, and I understand it. But I did change kind of naturally.
Yeah, I mean it's growing. You're growing. as a
Yeah, because
person.
I see. Okay. You know?
And respect. Respect is huge too. I'll be honest. Towards the end, we were disrespecting each other, and it's like I cannot be in a home disrespecting each other in front of our
Yes.
5-year-old daughter.
Yes.
She's not going to inherit that behavior.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So it's again that changed the game.
Yeah.
I've seen a few comments in the chat saying that they would have liked to hear more about CDC corruption at the top.
Oh, tell us then.
Do you have any
I want to know more too.
insight that you may not have shared anywhere else or something like that?
But my
Oh, there's 715 viewers.
yeah,
That's a lot. So,
yeah, we're going up here.
basically, I mean, are you comfortable with me saying names of certain managers? You want me to avoid their names?
You don't gotta say their names.
Refrain from their names?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a
We can't give them that much clout. Ah.
no. When I was a
Yeah,
lieutenant
keep
at
your enemies with you, fool.
Yeah, keep your enemies with you, fool. But we got your back, you know?
Oh yeah, way back.
I got your back.
Put money on your books, Hector. No, I mean the chief deputy warden at the time, was a female, and she was literally like spearheading the corruption, the spearheading, and that's another reason why I resigned. It was rumored that she was gonna take over as warden of Donovan, and I'm like, no way. There's no way. If this lady becomes warden, I'm done, right? Like she's gonna fire me. She'll make something up illegal, something crazy. I'm
Why
like,
would you say that?
Like, what kind of things would they make up to fire people?
well, it's not that they would make they would twist your words. This is how. Let me give you an example. You know, and there's correctional officers that are watching they'll probably appreciate this. Here's an example. Let's say there's two inmates fighting, and you use pepper spray and you pepper spray one of them, right? And what you do is you do 2 1-second bursts. Psst, psst. Well, in the middle, if you're a young CO and your adrenaline's up and you get tunnel vision and auditory exclusion and you're wild with, right? I mean, they get amped up, these kids. When it comes to if they hate you, they hate a lot of people, they're gonna ask you a question in a report. You know, how many times did you spray that inmate?
And you're going to say, I don't know.
Well, if you can't remember, because like, yeah, you got body worn cameras now, but there's these little wobblers that sometimes it'll show it'll look like 3 sprays. Now, is it really that important whether it was 2 or 2.5? In reality, it's not. But this is how they get you. They'll say like, well, I did 2. Cool. We're gonna fire you for being less than truthful, because the video it looked like it was actually 3. You're lying to us. And lying is a fireable offense. It's a 9 on the matrix. So they do little shady shit like that all day long. They get people in a wreck. So you got to be
Damn, they get fools
cautious.
and wrecks. That is terrible.
You got to be cautious on how you answer questions, on how you write reports, on how you got to see the angle that they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really good
It's
at
exactly the same.
I was very good at that, at protecting myself and protecting the troops, the officers, when I can tell something was being shady.
I know exactly what you mean.
So I'm like, she's gonna be the warden, that everything's gonna go through her, all the orders are gonna come through her. Fast forward, she did not end up becoming the warden, thank God, but instead they promoted her.
Your face.
They promoted her from chief deputy warden, skipped the whole entire rank of warden. She was never a warden.
You think she was boning somebody?
And she went to Sacramento headquarters, where she's now there to this day, 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You think she was boning somebody?
I don't think she wasn't boning somebody. It's that she was playing their game.
She was there. She wanted to be part of the team.
Yeah. She even was overheard making comments, telling officers, which side are you on? Their side or our side? Like, you know,
yeah,
the administration side or the ones that are going against the grain.
Oh, so it's like 2 gangs.
That's what she said. When I'm like, why would a chief say that? Like, what kind of mentality is that? Hey, lady, I just want to come to work. I don't want to pick a side.
Like, I don't give a shit about what you got going on.
Correct, but they're like that.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. So it's like basically you're already dealing with the prisoners,
the inmates, yeah,
the inmates and their gangs, and it's like,
hey, lady,
the higher up is making you guys feel like you're 2 gangs.
She was the one that told me like, hey, is it true that Sergeant so and so is dating Sergeant so and so? And I'm like, ma'am, that's like I said, that's rumors and hearsay. I don't partake in rumors and hearsay. And she's like, oh well, that's just what I heard. And I'm like, again,
you're like, bitch, we ain't friends.
Right? Like. Yeah, and she's in Sacramento. Like, it's just the corruption is like, dude, since I've been out, I've been learning about other prisons and CSP SAC, New Folsom, and that warden there, and certain associate directors. Like, these dudes literally have blood on their hands. These dudes are literally responsible for murders of inmates.
I have friends there.
Dead to rights. Like if it wasn't for these dudes' moves, those other inmates would not be dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
It's like that. How do you not get arrested?
Was that recent?
There's so many.
Because you know how there was like one going viral on TikTok.
Which one?
There was these 2 guys down like in the dorm. Well, not the dorm, but like the TV area where there was like little chairs, and then they just opened the door for one guy, and that one guy came down, and then it took him out.
Were they on chairs?
Mm-hmm.
That was CSP SAC New Folsom. That was what I got introduced to. That's bad, bro. The FBI got involved. Because
everybody was locked down except those 2 fools.
3.
But yeah, 3.
So we'll talk about that one. So you had, okay, that was a 180 design, right? For some reason, they put chairs like this on the day room floor,
hmm
which common sense tells you don't do
With
that.
desks. There's like desks
With
attached
desks.
to
Because
it.
they're
And then,
loose.
and then they chain they change the inmate to the ground and to the desk. You know how dangerous that is? You know how ridiculous that is? I remember I showed my dad, because my dad was a CO, started in 1993. I said, Dad, you ever seen this? He's like, no, we just used to put them in holding cells. Why don't they have holding cells, right? Like a cage.
hmm
But no, these were like open desks. And that all the officers told the warden, hey, sir, these desks cannot be here. Somebody's going to get killed. But that the warden wanted to, they all want to kiss Sacramento's ass. We have to give the inmates more time out of their cells. This is a way to give them more time out of their cells. But it's like, yeah, but somebody's going to get killed.
Well, how? Like, how is it not like cool? Like to have the desk there
It's not cool. So, I mean, what
for
the
you
off-
guys? Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I'm trying to.
why is it not cool?
Yeah, like why is it not okay for
Why
them?
is it not safe for them
Yeah,
to
why
be
is
in
it
that
not safe?
situation?
How is it dangerous?
Oh, because of the way the murder happened. You can foresee that that's going to happen.
Oh,
Right?
because they weren't able to escape that space or move from that
So
space.
what happened was they picked their locks. That's super easy, right? I just learned how to do that the other day. I learned how to do that. So easy. I didn't realize how
They're
easy it
pearls.
was. And they removed the restraints. And the screwed up thing about it, well, there's so many, but the victim, he's chilling like he doesn't realize what is about to happen to him. He just sees these two guys go get weapons, come back down, and then dude, they just start hitting him. He's chained. He's chained to the desk. And what did they do? They swept that whole incident under the rug. You know, they got a whole podcast on KQED on that. They burned other officers that were involved in the whole. They just burned everybody at the bottom when they left everybody at the top.
Because it's yeah.
That warden is still the warden from there. So what do you have? You have a dead inmate. You have fired correctional officers. And
And they didn't even do anything. They were just trying to work their job like you did.
put in a bad spot, put in a wreck. You know, Donovan, you know, badass Snoop. I interviewed him. He texted me earlier. Well, on the app thingy, the app. I have the app, and he got moved to Donovan Prison, A Yard. Well, there was a documented enemy of his on A Yard.
Like they didn't like
How the hell do you get two documented enemies on the same yard? But if you look at the DOM, which is the Departmental Operational Manual, the rule book, that literally says the warden, the higher authority, has overall responsibility of every single inmate and their housing. That's black and white to me. You failed. You
protect them.
negligently failed. Now this dude got murdered. And he's still there? How? I always say on my YouTube channel, like, man, if I worked at McDonald's and I constantly kept burning the fries, eventually they're gonna shit can me.
yeah, and
They
they
say,
just
you gotta
don't.
go, dude.
And they just
right?
don't.
But these guys are getting people killed, blood, and there's videos.
Well,
of
because
it.
they're like this with the what did you call them? Sacramento
Headquarters.
headquarters? Is that in Sacramento?
Yeah. So what you have in Sacramento, you have a building or two buildings. That's where all the bigwigs. That's where they're based out of.
Shotgun underwear.
Um,
Sorry, I just had to read. I
Let
just
me
read
ask
it.
you this to pivot a little bit. My question would be to you, sir, is what is one of your favorite episodes that you've seen on Indicted? I'm not saying you need to you've watched every episode or you watch frequently, but from just from what you've seen.
oh, dude, I've seen the last ones with Brian.
Oh,
seen-
Brian was one of the first ones.
I
No,
seen-
he's talking about the Visitation.
Oh, the live.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
I seen the one with Lefty Gunplay. I've seen I've seen a lot of them. Oh, and then one thing we were talking about is like, hey, can you tell that they're, some guys are bullshitting about
Oh,
stories
yes,
or
yes, yes.
or embellishing stories when you watch. And I'm like, no, but I can tell the different generations of when people did time.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not a
How can you tell?
I'm not an OG, right? I didn't start in the 90s, and there's even prison before that. But I did my time from 06 to 2022, that time
Those
frame.
are like crazy.
A
years
lot of
as well.
transformation.
Yeah.
I saw the whole change. So I can tell when you get they're youngsters. To me, they're youngsters. And then like if they were to mention shoe or I did my shoe time, it's like, man, past 2015, 2016, doing shoe time wasn't really doing the shoe time, right? Going to Ad-Seg past 2015, 2016, if you went to Ad-Seg in 2016 and on, it sure in the hell wasn't the Ad-Seg in like 2006 and that. Like, because back in that time frame, you didn't have nothing in Ad-Seg. Nothing. Now they got tablets, they got wind-up radios, they get phone calls, they get outlets in their cells. With,
Ah.
yeah, so
So
it's
it's just
like,
like they're just single cell living.
yeah, oh, 100%. It's like it's like you're not in the hole. Honestly, without the exception that you can't walk out and go to yard, right? But
That's all.
that's all. Um, but yeah, I hear the youngster like, oh yeah, I did. I, or like
I
I put in work, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. But putting in work, there's different levels to putting in work, right?
and
Like
you've seen all types of different levels.
I've seen a lot of levels, right?
Tell me the craziest level.
Well, there was a whites. I mean, I've seen murders for sure, but not always. Not all murders are.
Yeah, tell me the craziest one.
Uh, and I shared this story in the past. I was eating my lasagna. I remember it was my mom's lasagna. I don't know why I always remember that part. It was Charlie R level 4, Centinela. I was in the law library eating. It was downtime. Downtime meaning all the inmates were put away in their cells while we get a little bit of time to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear over the radio, code 2, Charlie Vogue.
What does
I'm
code
like,
2 mean?
2. So there's a code 1, code 2, and a code 3. Code 1 is like a fist fight.
Okay.
A code 2 would be like 6 Crips fighting 6 Crips, 6 Bloods fight. You know what I mean? And I say that because those are your code 2s.
Yeah.
Majority. Like a 6 on 6, 7 on 7, 8 on 8. Code 3 is a all out riot. All out riot. Could be a code 3 staff assault, right? Where it is just all hell is broken loose. Now you got to get there as soon as possible. So they call it code 2 C Vogue or behind Charlie Vogue. I'm like, freaking put the spoon down. Like, the hell? Like, it's downtime. What the hell is it? Respawn? I remember I run and you needed some keys to get into the back to make it like manually open. We go. And I remember like, dude, there was 2 white boys. Oh, this is when the USAS. So there was a gang that tried to start up and go against the big white gang.
Oh.
And they didn't. That didn't happen. That didn't work because they got direct orders from the Bay. Hey, get rid of them. Get rid of all of them. And there's only one way to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And dude, these guys were stabbed with good ice pick weapons. I actually have photographs of the weapons still. Good ice pick weapons, probably 8-9 inches, but they were made out of the big screws. Good handles. I always say that the whites make the best weapons, and they do. Oh, dude, they stabbed. Oh, shit. They broke both of their eye sockets, stomped them all out, broke their back, stabbed them all up. It's just they put
Destroyed
these
them.
into a bloody pulp. I'm really surprised they didn't die.
Oh, they didn't die.
No, they didn't die. It was weird.
It's like they were meant to be alive to. I know it's kind of crazy for me to say that, but it's like.
Well, I just remember like the condition of that they were in, right? And then the whites, the suspects. That's how you can tell the level that these guys are at, because when they're cool, calm, and they just get the knife and they just throw it like that while they're looking at you they're looking at the CO. They just throw and they just get down and put their hands behind their back. It's like they know what time it is. This isn't their first rodeo, and they're giving us the respect of like, hey,
Okay, fool. Here you go.
Here you go. Right? You ain't got to get crazy. Just put this cuffs. Let's just get this going. And that's how those white boys were acting. They were acting like, fuck it, like nothing, like chill mode. That kind of gives me the chills thinking about it, like the different levels of
humanity,
violence, and the comfort. People are very comfortable with violence, and those are the people that I'm afraid of. Like, fuck, like these dudes are operating at this level, right? Can I operate at that level? Yeah, I can, right? But I don't want to. But it's a certain level, right? And it's eerie. It's eerie to see them like nonchalantly just kill somebody. Like, not even, you could tell their heartbeat doesn't even raise up.
Well, because they're kind of lifeless as well.
I don't know what the hell it is, but I don't know what it is.
They're
they're built into that cause, you know? So I remember I asked that inmate, like, hey, what's your name? And he was gurgling blood. And I'm thinking, like, damn. I was there thinking, like, I fucked up by asking him his
Oh
name.
yeah, I want to
But I
make you
wasn't
choke.
thinking, it
Yeah,
was like, I
fast.
was trying to do something. Hey, what's your name? Oh, fuck, let me get this ID. Looks like, damn. That was a bad one. Like, those dudes got fucked up. And I never saw him again afterwards. But those dudes
Right now,
got
where you did the whole
fucked up.
movement of like, the certain levels of
Uh-huh.
the person's like how experienced they are, right? Of doing the thing over and over, right? Like you just did like the whole. It's like a whole like I just saw the whole movie.
I've seen it. Like, right before I left the Donovan, there was an old white guy.
What is
He,
that movie called? Shot caller?
yeah. There was an old white guy. He was a somebody for the whites. And then he was no longer, right? He was on the other side. And I saw the video. He's sitting at, no, there was two child molesters sitting at the table. He walks, he comes back, and then he hits the dude. Where did he hit him? Oh, yeah. The first guy, he hit him right here. Boom, 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 boom. Started on the right side of the neck and just hit him all the way across. Oh, the dude was 60 years old. Was he 60? 60. Viejito. 60. Boom, 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 boom. And then there was another guy in the wheelchair, and he walks up to him, hits him in the chest. I'm surprised none of these guys died. It's crazy.
Because I
Hit
need
him,
to feel that.
hit him in the chest, and then hit him in the eye, right underneath the eye, because it just went
And this was in a
SOY
well, even though like
on a level 3.
he went over, but he was still not okay. See, and that's like
Well, I think the reason he hit him was because one of the Chamas disrespected him. So he ain't gonna have it, right? That's not
No.
his fucking mindset.
no. Plus, there's still those kind of people.
Right. He's like, hey, motherfucker, first of all, nobody's gonna disrespect me. Second of all, your type ain't gonna disrespect me. It was something weird like that, something had happened.
Wow.
So he went to the hole, that old man. Well, I saw the video and he did that too. Boom, fucking put it in. I'm like, God damn, man. I said, that's good to see. That's good to see, right? Because I seen the department change where it got whack. It got whack. Like nobody was OGs anymore. The respect had gone out the window. I'm like, oh man. So he was in the hole. He was in Bravo Yard in the hole. He was like I don't know if he was in the, he had to have been lower tier because he was older and probably had a wheelchair, or not a wheelchair, but a walker or a cane. I walked up to him and I'm like, knocked on the window, and this dude was like 6'5". I go, hey, OG, man, you gave me hope. He was like, what? I was like, dude, because I always feared that when I got old, I was not going to be dangerous anymore, man. You shattered that freaking belief. Like, dude. And he goes, what did he say? LT, every time I try to get out, they always bring me back in. I said, damn, man, you sound like the Godfather. And he goes, hey, LT, you give me like a golf pencil? I ain't got nothing in here. I'm like, yeah, hey, CO, right? Like, hey, get this dude a golf pencil. Get him a book. This dude's over here doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, right. Get what he needs.
So he's probably tripping out. But that was towards the end where I was just having fun with the job, right? Like just chilling.
Which was good.
Yeah, it was, but that's the thing. I was trying to chill, and it wasn't. I was getting pushed back from the top
By the people, yeah.
because I wasn't going. I wasn't going with the grain.
Hey, let me ask you something. It just came to my head. Throughout your whole time you working in the system, you know how people get, there's lifers.
Mm-hmm.
What was like the oldest person? Like, is there people that really like old men that really like died in there and like not woken up? Like, because they're just old.
I've seen so many people die.
You get what I mean from like oldness.
Yes. One guy died on the floor. It was Sentinella in the back in the infirmary, CTC. He's an older dude, died on the floor. I was a CO, come around. Okay, he died. Why is he on the floor? Right? Thinking to yourself, why is he on the floor? Oh, he was just laying on the bed. He was old. He made himself comfortable on the floor and he died.
Oh,
that's
wow.
what he wanted, right? Like that's what hey, it's time for me to go. And then just made his little bed on the ground and died. Yeah, I've seen people die of old age.
Wow.
Cirrhosis of the liver where they go out. Oh, that looks painful. Kidney failure, overdoses, suicides. Yeah, people die for sure. And that
for sure they do.
CDCR doesn't even report those
at all.
Those type of deaths. No.
Only which one?
Only the murders. But there's people dying daily.
Everywhere.
The drug problem in prison is off the hook right now. They gave the inmates Narcan, to bring. I never heard of that. Why would you do that? I don't get that.
Because it's making it okay for them.
I don't see that logic. When before the COs didn't even have Narcan, it was only the sergeants that had the Narcan. And Narcan works, by the way. It works. You have a dude out, blue, dead. And there's different levels to being dead too. Like, if they're still freshly heart stop, you can hit them with an Narcan. It brings them back.
And it's just like, oh, you know what? I just have a Narcan can right here in case I pass out. Like,
Well, I used to tell the inmates, like, hey, like I was on Delta Yard at Donner, like, hey, man, you guys need to start getting high in pairs, or what the fuck are you guys doing?
and
Like, this is all bad. Like, we're about to fucking tear this whole place up because you guys don't know how to get high. Everybody's fucking dying. The fuck are you guys doing? Getting high on the yard, on the table? I'm like, nah, I don't know what the fuck, right? Because it's a bad reflection of you. I take it of you.
yeah,
Like
like don't die on my watch,
like
fool.
you're running a shitty program.
Yeah,
Right? And I'm like, fuck. So you got to kind of reel it in. It's kind of give and take. It goes in waves. Sometimes the dope dries up. Whatever happens, I don't know. You got dirty staff members bringing that shit in. Drone drops. It goes in waves. But when it started getting bad, that's when I would kind of put my foot down and like, hey, we're gonna have to start hitting everybody.
yeah, because bro, it's not
It's
safe.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dang, shout out to you guys. 747 viewers. I love you guys.
I got somebody that asks, what prison group would you ride with?
None.
If you were in prison
He's
and you went to the joint, obviously, I'm going to assume safely that you're not going to roll it up on us, Lieutenant.
Correct.
What prison gang would you roll with? Or what prison group? The
I'll say-
Southsiders, the Woods, the Paisas, the Blacks?
So here's a little neat piece of information for you guys.
that we've never heard.
I came back from the army in 2005. I did a beer run with my friends.
Oh, I remember the story. Go ahead.
0506.
Yeah,
I went to. I thought they were just gonna first of all, I didn't even think they were gonna arrest me. Second of all, I just thought maybe a ticket or something. No, I stayed in jail for a whole week. It was crazy. It was dumb.
Shout out to JV.
And Imperial County Jail. I had to run with the Mexicans.
Well,
I had to run with the Southsiders.
That's right, Ashay.
But what do they call it? A resident.
yeah,
Yeah,
resident.
you're
you
a
would-
Southside resident.
When you would go around, and now I know people are probably thinking, we knew you're the undercover Southsider. No, I was just got out of the military. Right?
Yeah.
Not in a fucking gang at all, nor did I want to be in a gang.
Oh, you're a
My
fucking
dad was a
military
CO.
guy. Yeah.
Beat my fucking ass, right?
Yeah.
But I went in, and when it goes around, you have to do your whatever. I had to say Hector from Brawley. That's it. I didn't have a moniker. I didn't have a gang.
Oh, yeah,
name.
you were fucking Hector because that's your name.
Correct.
And that's what
And
your
you were
area
from
you're
the city
from.
of fucking
Yeah.
Raleigh.
But I do remember this.
And you happen
I
to
remember,
be Hispanic.
I remember they gave us the rules, the reglas, and
Right?
because I had never been to jail before. That was my first time. I've been there 3 times.
Yeah,
since.
no
But
fucking
anyways,
pissing in the shitters, homie.
they said no horseplay and no sex play. And when I heard no sex play, I'm like, oh, thank God, in my head. And I thought it was gonna be like, rape, like in jail, like in the movies. I thought it was gonna be like the movies. I even slept on my back, bro. I slept on my back because I'm like, ain't no fucking I seen American me. I ain't fucking doing nothing. Like I slept like.
No, but you know what? That's funny that you say that. I mean, it's not funny, but
Let me go on record real
You-
quick because I feel like I have, for some reason, as a correctional peace officer, I didn't favor any one race over the next, any one group segment over the next. Literally, and I
You're
just told you,
pressed.
I treated even the heavy hitters the same.
yeah.
They all wore blue to me, straight up. Now, on case by case
It's different,
individual,
yeah.
not fucking different. You're gonna get crazy. We're all gonna get crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Back to so Young Beeves, Young Beeves comedy.
Yeah.
Did you watch this episode?
Yeah.
His was intense, like crazy. Well, he was on my live. Maybe was it like 2 weeks ago? He said he still sleeps on his back. He's like super traumatized.
We had a rough time at YA.
Let me-
Yeah.
So real quick, since we're on trauma, right?
Yes.
And I kind of feel bad because trauma's trauma.
For sure.
Trauma's trauma. Whether you were a victim of a car accident, a sexual assault,
Any kind.
if you worked in a prison, you suffer from trauma. Trust me, I didn't see it till I see it now. If you were an inmate in prison, trust me, you suffer from trauma.
For
And
sure.
I'm talking about anything from hearing audible alarms to that reflected, like the constant, like
Mm-hmm.
the nervous system,
yes.
all that. First of all, number one, you're not crazy. I've gone through so much therapy for my PTSD from the military, right? It's a natural response that your body does and your brain does to keep you in order to survive. It rewires itself, right? Unfortunately, when you come back to a civilian setting, the shit you're doing is not normal. right,
Yeah.
for the standards. So you have to unwire your brain. You have to seek treatment to go back and, you know, unlearn
Restart.
those habits.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking alcohol doesn't help. Doing
No.
dope doesn't help.
No.
You
If
know,
anything, I feel like it would
it
worsen
does. It
it.
worsens it,
Yeah.
right? Because I wouldn't have been able to gotten recovered from my PTSD had I still been drinking. I know
Mhm.
that for a fact.
Yeah, because you get stuck in the same
Yeah.
mind frame.
Uh,
You get drunk and all you talk about is the same thing.
and then, you know, being more on the topic of being Mexican and the whole machismo thing, I literally almost died before I asked for help. I wanted to die instead of ask for help. That was the hardest thing for me to do, was ask for help. But when I did that, that's when the help began. That's when the journey
Good.
began. So yeah, like emotions, I don't think it's weak to show
No, not at all.
emotions.
I don't think so either.
Asking for help, to me, that's the best thing you can do.
Like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's
So
another question that's been asked like 75 times by Lupe here in the chat. I don't know if this is like a sensitive question or what, but he said, ask Hector about the innocent bystander who got hit by the tower on Sea Yard in 2010.
yeah. You had the Sureños 2-on-1 with the weapon. Charlie R level 4 GP, like I told you. You had the gunner was right there. You have the center fence down. You have buildings Charlie 1, 2, 3, and then the center fence, and then I think it's 4 and 5. Where you have a table right at the fence where the who was there? Well, it had to have been the blacks table, because that's where it happened. So the stabbing happened right in front of the blacks table. Get down, get down, get down. I don't know. I wasn't there. But apparently there was a black inmate still standing up, and then they fired a warning shot into the dirt, but it hit the dirt and it hit the inmate in the eye. He lost his eye,
Oh, wow.
right? So it's kind of like, you know, I will say this: that officer up in the control booth felt freaking horrible about that. Like it,
Oh, so it wasn't you?
no, hell no, that wasn't me.
No, it was because he asked a lot of
Like he's
times.
asking, like he probably.
So I assumed it was you.
Fuck no, I didn't shoot nobody in the eye. Fuck no.
We're not laughing at the incident. We're
No.
laughing because the way he answered.
Yeah,
Excuse
I
me.
never shot the Mini 14 on the jaw. I shot the 40 millimeter all day long. The block gun. The
Big bird.
Well, no, you
all
hit the
day.
guy.
All
The
day.
one you
long.
hit the guy and you were like, you guys were cool. You guys like,
Oh,
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, more than
Yeah.
that, riots and AR and,
Yeah.
and the gym, code 3 riots.
Talk
like,
to us about the worst riot you've experienced as a CO, sir.
well, I mean, to me, it's not that bad, right? It's just, it's a riot for sure. It's because I know there's more dangerous riots, more bigger riots. But I mean, typical at that time frame, level 3, GP. And at the time, lifers were not going home. Nobody gave a shit. There was no hope. You had bunk beds on every freaking day room in all the housing units. So you had overcrowding, more inmates than you should have had. And then you had the gyms that were full, the double bunks, where I did a good portion of my career the first year in the gym. That sucks. And it kicked off. And then when it kicks off in one place, it's going to kick off everywhere. Twice on A yard, twice on these. I was there for these twice on A yard. One, I was in the gun, Alpha Gym gun, blacks and Mexicans, code 3. That was, they're fighting everywhere, fighting between the bunks. That one dude got
That's even scarier, huh? Because
well,
you don't know where to go.
well, I was in the gun. I was
Uh-huh.
safe, right? They weren't on the bottom. And my partners were at the podium. They were just standing at the podium. I mean, the gunners were handling it. And like, that's the old school mentality, is like, hey, just let the gunners work. Let the gunners handle their business.
They're there for a reason.
Correct. Yeah. You don't need to be getting in the mix, hurting yourself. Like, hey, just fucking, so that one quelled that. And then the other time I was working the whole Ad-Seg A5, and then I hear over the radio, code 3 Alpha Yard. Like, code 3 Alpha Yard. And I asked the lieutenant, hey, can I go? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, later. Like, I did that straight up, like, later, because she didn't, oblivious.
Yeah.
And then when I looked outside, oh yeah, they were fighting in the culinary, the blacks and Mexicans again. There was a lot of race riots when those leaders were in the shoe. Since then, it has stopped. 100%, like it has stopped.
Do you think it's because they're out now?
Mm-hmm. Because it was part of the agreement, and it's not good for business.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That is a
yeah.
100% fact. Since they have been out, the race riots have ceased. Now, you may have had a few skirmishes here, there, or wherever, but trust me, it ain't nothing like race riots in the past. And I would never, like I said, I wasn't in the 90s. I can only imagine that was even crazier.
Yeah, for sure.
But in that time frame of early 2000s, There's hundreds of freaking inmates fighting everywhere and stabbing each other, and then the pepper spraying them and shooting them, zip tying them, getting a medical, 7219s, escorts, the whole process. It kind of just like
Over
clockwork,
and over and over and
clockwork.
over and over.
Preparing for Ad-Seg placement. You got to put 200 dudes in Ad-Seg. Okay, how many beds do we have in A5? How many beds do we have in C6? All right, open up an Ad-Seg overflow. I think at the time was like Charlie 2, and then like Bravo 4, Bravo 3, I can't remember, but you had regular housing units that were designated as Ad-Seg overflow. So if you were working that housing unit, you would have your regular GP inmates on A and B section,
Mm-hmm.
and then C section would be
For the
Ad-Seg inmates.
yeah, they just couldn't come out. They just stay there
Yeah. I mean, looking back now, that's freaking crazy. But
as
now,
long as they were locked down.
now an inmate can play with himself in front of a female officer. He will not go to the hole. Like they did away with that. It's like they make it impossible for you to go to the hole now. It's crazy. It's the game has changed.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's why you see it getting as wild as it is because there's no repercussions.
Oh wow.
They just slit an officer's throat in Corcoran, and I just saw the video too. I mean, I'll show you guys afterwards the video. They slit his throat. These young officers do not have the experience or the wherewithal of where they're at and what can happen. And they're not to blame because there's nobody to teach them.
Yeah.
Everybody has just jumped ship, like including myself. I left the department, right? Like I didn't want no
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
Same thing with these other guys. They're hiding out. It's not a bad thing. It's just what they're doing, right? Like, hey, I gotta retire. I gotta make it to retirement.
Yeah. Wow.
What you got for the lieutenant retired here?
I don't have anything.
What would you like to share with
I
the
know.
people?
Tell us something.
Real quick, chat. If you guys have any questions,
I'm
chat,
just like, wow.
shoot it. June says, "Have you had any spread from the inmates?" I asked him that or my wife asked him that a year ago.
Yeah, no, he
I-
never
He
did.
said no.
I did not eat a spread from an inmate, of course not. However, when I would work culinary, the culinary,
Yes.
chow hall, in the morning, I mean, because I was drinking at that time, 2007, 2008, 2009, you go to work hungover, they would be making their little breakfast sandwiches on the griddle or on the grill
For themselves.
with the egg, the ham and the cheese and the bread, and they would toast it. Sometimes they'll be like, hey, CO, you want me to make you one? But I would be standing like right there, make sure they didn't do nothing crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
And
like,
it's
yeah,
like
I got
the
you. I got
Jail
you.
food, not
Yeah,
their
jail
own.
food. Yeah, nothing fucking. So to me, like, yeah, I ate that fucking breakfast sandwich, like a breakfast sandwich from Jack in
Yeah.
a Box to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not like meals from their own
Nah, you
canteen.
prepared it from the culinary food.
Yeah.
I really didn't think it was that bad. I was fucking hungry, and then I got to work a double. Fuck, I'm gonna eat.
Someone once says that they want to become a correctional officer. What tips can you give him?
Don't. At this point, honestly, no. I cannot in good faith, if you are not already in the department, tell you to join. However, if you're already in, I tell them to reach out to me. Learn policy and procedure. You have to know the policy. Even if you're a CO, learn it immediately. Why? Because you have to know the rules. Like, you have to know what
the rules so that the higher up.
so you have to know the rules so that the higher ups don't tell you to do things that violate the rules, right?
And
So when they're telling you to do something, believe it or not, I don't know if this is shocking to you guys, but the higher ups will ask you to do stuff that violates policy.
No, I believe it.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys find that shocking?
No, I think they do that
As a
in any,
test
I
or
think they do that in any job.
But
Corporate
I didn't
America.
know that. I was like dumb and naive for a good portion of my career till I started realizing, like, the fuck are these? I kind of thought they didn't know.
Like, give us an example.
Small examples. For in order for an inmate to get placed in and this is just a small example because off the top of my head, in order for an inmate to get placed in Ad-Seg, they got to have the proper paperwork, which is their 7219 medical evaluation, their property inventory, when all their property gets inventoried, the ASU placement notice, like, hey, inmate Jones, Sanchez, you're being placed in Ad-Seg for this reason. So there's a whole list of criteria that has to be in the thing. I remember they rolled up like 20 dudes from Charlie Yard one time, so that Donovan, and they just started like letting all these inmates into the Ad-Seg. And I'm like, hey, hold up. I was a sergeant or I was a lieutenant. I'm like, what do you hold up? Where's all the paperwork? Because that's huge. Like everybody that's ever worked Ad-Seg in the past knows that you don't let a dude in unless all the paperwork is there. Because if something goes bad, it's gonna be bad, right? It's gonna fall on you. I'm getting all these dudes, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I start slowing it down. I start delaying it, right? And then the AW called me like, just let them in. Just let them in. But they got nothing. They got nothing. You're just letting bodies in here with nothing. Just let them in. So at that time, I just got a red pen, and on my logbook, I wrote per AW so and so. And he was a good AW, but even the good ones will ask you to do stupid shit. Because when something goes bad, he's gonna say, "Oh, the lieutenant knew what it took. You need all the proper paperwork. That's on him. He
Mm.
accepted them." So I wrote it in the logbook per A&W so and so's instructions. He instructed me to accept all these inmates without the proper paperwork. That's just a small example. Oh, let me give you a big example. I never shared this.
He
How
said,
we doing on time?
this.
So I had an epiphany right
How
now.
we doing on time?
Do you?
This was horrible. This was when the warden, who's right now, he's the warden of Mule Creek. It's crazy how this corruption works.
All the corrupt ones are
Just
in
small,
each one.
they get
Huh?
all promoted. The more grimy or dirt you do, the more higher you go up in the
I mean, it's how it is. You know?
department. So this was Donovan. This was the beginning of mixing GPs and SNYs. They were calling it non-designated at the time. You guys got to realize they never told us what they were going to do. They just started doing it.
Was this like no, this wasn't COVID.
This was 2019, 2018, 2019. No, this was before COVID.
Yeah.
2018 ish.
Because that's why they have these like, oh, if you get to a certain yard, you gotta take off so they could take you out.
2017, 2018.
Kind of vibes. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, I was there. Yeah, they were taking off. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't even telling us that they were going to take off. We knew that they were.
Well, because because that's what they were doing, right? That's what you just said. This is the time when
So
it's just because I just got like everything started going
that's
into
it.
my head. Yeah.
No, what you're saying is correct. So A yard was at the time. A yard was GP at Donovan at the time because they flipped it eventually to Bravo. A and B flipped. Alpha yard was level 3 GP at the time. Ad-Seg was Ad-Seg. You had that warden. I was a lieutenant. I was always hearing these codes on the radio. Inmate resisting staff, Bravo 6, code 1, the alarm. Staff assault, Bravo 6, staff assault. Just hearing these constant codes, right? And I'm at the other part of the prison working. One day I asked a youngster like CO, like, hey, dude, what the hell's happening over there, right? Because I ain't really trying to get too much involved. Oh, man, they're doing this weird thing. I'm like, what do you mean weird thing, right? It's like, the warden is telling these inmates in committee, like an SNY inmate, SNY, I'll pretend I'm the warden. Hey, SNY inmate, you're going to be housed on A yard. And he's like, no, I'm not, right? Because he's a SNY inmate, Alpha Yard's GP.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go there.
No, I'm not. Oh, yeah, you are. And then they would get in a pissing contest, the warden and the inmate. Okay, hey, we'll see about that, inmate. Hey, officers, escort this inmate right now to A yard. Drag him over there. Like, these were words that he was saying, drag. And it's like, dude, we don't drag people. This ain't the 1990s. That violates policy. I know
Yeah.
policy. I know policy, right?
So learn your policy for that question.
This is a true story. And those officers involved, they'll vouch for it. They know. They thank me for that. Like, dude, you looked out for us that day. Like, so what do you think would happen once they picked up that inmate and try to walk him? They make it crazy, right? He starts like
Yeah, resisting.
put the brakes on. Depending
He's
what
going
he
crazy
did.
because he thinks he's gonna
Maybe-
die.
And he's not wrong for that, right? It's
No.
self-preservation mode. And if I got to headbutt a cop to not get put on A yard, then I'm gonna headbutt a fucking cop.
Yeah.
Like I'll stay right here in Ad-Seg. Now you're gonna keep me. And that's what was happening, right? It was a pissing match between the warden
And then maybe.
and the warden was doing it so he can look good to his bosses in Sacramento. That's what Sacramento wanted done. So you can see how the corruption goes from the top down. That's why things are happening the way they're happening. So I like to pre-plan, and I'm like, well, if I ever work Ad-Seg, I got to think of a plan so that doesn't happen to me, right?
Yeah.
And this was the day before Thanksgiving. It was a Wednesday because Thanksgiving fell on a Thursday. I was covered relief, meaning I call every day for a job. They tell you, hey, you're working Ad-Seg. All right, lieutenant. There's 2 buildings, building 6 and building 7. I'm in my office in building 7. Committee is being ran in building 6. I am purposely avoiding building 6 because I don't want to be no part of no bullshit, right? That bullshit included. I get a call from the acting captain. He was a good dude. I would say friend. He was a good dude. Hey, come over here to Bravo 6. I'm like, all right, fucking go over there. I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, hey, they're gonna do a direct admit right now. I wanted you to be here. I was like, bro, why would you do that? Why would you call me over here when this? And then you just hear the dude yelling, no, I don't want to go. No, 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 I don't want to go. It's like I'm just looking at the captain like, oh, dude, you got me involved in some fucking bullshit, right? Like now I'm present during this. So you hear the yelling go outside of the building, but we didn't hear no alarm. We didn't hear no radio call. I'm not looking over there. I just hear all this bullshit. I'm like, well, fuck, maybe I don't have an incident. Maybe everything went swell. I don't know. But then the COs come in and they're like, ALT, we have to write reports. We used force. I remember thinking like, well, it's good that the officers told me they used force, right? They're not lying and they know the policy. So yeah, well, let's just do an incident. So you look at the video. It doesn't look good on video, right? The inmate, yeah, he puts the freaking brakes on. He puts the brakes. Oh, but I forgot to tell you what the warden was doing. After the officers would dump the inmate, he was putting those officers under investigation for excessive use of force. Every
You're
time.
kidding.
Every time. So he was telling the cops to utilize illegal force or to escort this guy illegally. And then once they would use force, he would put them all under investigation.
Hey, and do you think that? Well, I don't know if you.
How grimy is that?
Do you
It's
think
disgusting.
the big higher up people do that so that they could show the people that they're taking care of the people that use force? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
No, because to me, he's washing his hands. He's washing his hands on the cops.
That's what I'm saying.
And then up until that point,
to take care of himself, because this is what people want to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So up until that point, he can say, fuck, I never. First of all, nobody would have been dumb enough to say the warden told me to do this. I mean, I would have. But second of all he has to do is verbally deny. I never said that. And they're going to believe him.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's a huge part of the story because the officers were like, oh, dude, we're going to get fired, Lieutenant. We're going to get fired. I'm like, relax. Let's look at the video. Look, oh, yeah, it was all bad, man. The fucking inmate, they take him down. Then they pick his ass up like fucking Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Then the back door opens and you have other officers they're seeing and they just see an inmate getting carried. They get their hands on the dude too and they fucking throw him in the golf cart and off to A-yard he goes. And I'm like,
wow.
fuck. And I'm the lieutenant. I'm the incident commander. So I'm like, hold on, guys. I got a plan. All right, what's your plan, LT? I said, look, were you in the committee room? Were you in the office when the warden said that? Yeah, cool. I'm gonna ask you clarification questions. As a lieutenant, as an incident commander, here's my first question to you. Were you in the committee room when inmate Sanchez and warden? He responded, yes. Were you instructed to escort inmate Sanchez from the committee room to A-yard? Yes. Who instructed you to do it? And he said, per warden such and such. So I got him trapped like by 3 thingies. And I said, did you feel like you would be refusing a direct order had you not continued that escort? He's like, yeah, per the warden's instructions. So I got him dead to rights on paper, documentation. Well, they turned around and they wrote me up. They wrote me up saying that I turned in the package late, whatever, but that's just their MO, right? That's
Yeah.
their angle.
Because it's all about how you phrase everything.
Oh, I trapped them. I backed the wall up against the corner on paper. If not, those cops would have burned.
Yeah.
Oh, check this out. Miraculously, that incident didn't go under investigation. It cleared. The warden cleared himself.
Wow.
So fast forward. I mean, it's all these same key players.
The same ones over and
It's
over.
all the same. They're all cut from the same cloth. They're all the same people. I mean, I know all their names. I worked with them, these managers. At the time, there was a chief, that chief. He ended up getting promoted back to headquarters, and he called me out of the blue one time, a year later. I'm on Delta Yard, and the phone rings. Hello, or Farrell. Yeah, hey, this is so-and-so. He says, I don't know if you remember about a year ago, you had an incident, and I instantly knew what he was talking about. I'm like, what's that? He's like, it was Ad-Seg. He's like, all of these incidents get reviewed by our lawyers and people up here, right? I'm like, okay. He's like, why did you ask those questions? Right? Apparently it came up, and I'm like, well, because that's exactly what happened, sir. He was asking us to do illegal escorts, and that's wrong. And he's like, oh, well, I've just never seen that before. I'm like, yeah, neither have I.
Yeah. So there you go.
And then he's like, okay, well, if we hear anything from this, I'll call you back later. He never
He
did.
wanted to see if you were going to fold for him,
Fuck,
probably, huh?
I don't fold for anybody,
I know
but you know
that's
what I
right.
mean? Like,
Hey, has any of those higher people reached out by any chance?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised.
Reached out in one way or another, rather.
That's what I mean. I'm surprised.
Someone, damn, someone.
I
Oh,
I think it's because they don't know what to do initially.
I mean, what can they really do? YouTube is the biggest thing than anything in the
And
world.
I'm not an employee of the state. Oh, I didn't tell you about this fake subpoena. They subpoenaed my YouTube channel.
who
You're
did?
kidding.
So the Office of, you want to hear about corruption? Let me tell you about corruption.
Fuck.
The Office of Internal Affairs, OIA, they were investigating. That's a fucking scam, sham, and everything else. So these guys are afraid to work around inmates. So they're going to do everything in their power to stay in their office, burning cops, making up stories or whatever. So they're going to do the man's work, right? They're going to do. Google sent me an email. Hey, your account has been subpoenaed by California Department of Corrections. I'm like, what the fuck? I said, hey, can you please send me that subpoena?
In the mail?
No, like when
Is
they,
this an official Google email or is it a bullshit email sending you this?
no, official Google email. I said, can you please send me the copy of that? I said, for my lawyer, right? They sent it. It was an Office of Internal Affairs form with a log number. But what it said was one of our employees is utilized this account and is in violation of policy, but I'm not an employee. And we want all bank account statements, phone numbers, addresses, email addresses associated with this account. That's what the fucking subpoena said. So I shot it out to certain people that I know, especially in law, and they're like, dude, that's not a real subpoena. That's not a real subpoena. Like a real subpoena signed by like a judge.
Yeah,
and by
go to
like,
court.
by like, they're like, I've even talked to former special agents of Office of Internal Affairs. Like, believe me, I talk to everybody in
Yeah,
high
yeah.
places that are down with what my pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, bro, that is a tactic that they use. They'll type up some fake fucking bullshit. They'll shoot it to Google and just hope that the person on the other end of the computer will just grant them what they want and give them the information. And it's like a lot of times they do. They do it to T-Mobile. They do it to Verizon. They'll get correctional officers' phone records just to fucking snoop through their shit. And I'm like, oh, these grimy bastards, it's disgusting. I was like, these guys think in their head that they're like FBI agents. Motherfucker, you're like a fucking Kmart security cop to me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You're fucking nobody. Not that it's not a nobody,
No
but
offense, no
no
disrespect,
offense.
guys.
But in their head, they think that they're bigger than what they are.
It's just because they're the wardens.
No, I'm talking about Office of Internal Affairs.
Oh, okay, yes, yes.
Right? Office of Internal Affairs.
Yes.
Like, they're utilizing their position
The name.
to illegally gain personal information of other. Tell me that's not a violation of the Fourth fucking Amendment. Now that I think of it, the illegal right to search and seizure,
Yeah.
right? Or
I wonder where they would ask for your account.
they did. I mean, I could pull it up, but no, they did, and I'm like, damn, these fools are grimy, like. But at the same time, like during that time, like a lot of people were giving me information from everywhere, and I told them like, hey guys, like in order to protect you guys, pump the brakes, like, hey, freaking lay low for a little minute, right? Because I'm not trying to get nobody in a wreck.
Yeah.
But
Let me ask
Wow.
you this two-part question. Have you ever run into anybody you knew in your childhood in prison?
dude, one just got arrested for murder like 2 weeks ago, and I saw that dude a lot at Centinela, in and out. He's 3 years younger than me.
Is it someone dropped a name in here? I want to say maybe Mondo.
No,
Someone said if you knew Mondo Ramos from Centinela or some shit like that. I don't know. Maybe you went to high school with him. I don't know. But anyways, carry on. But have you ran into anyone inside prison while you were actively there you knew from the streets?
3, absolutely.
You don't need to say their names. What
No,
was
3.
what was-
One died of an overdose
Damn, that sucks.
last year, who was my age. And I used to party with that dude too out in the streets, like before he went to
Like
prison.
he was your friend.
Before he went to prison, before I became a CO, we were fucking partying. Let me tell you.
That was your boy.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one day, Bravo Yard, during that time when there's fucking inmates everywhere, he's coming out of Bravo 4, and he sees me and I see him. We just give each other one of these, and we just keep it pushing. And I respected that. I'm like, that's cool. He didn't fucking say
He
nothing
didn't try to
weird.
ask for any extra
He didn't
shit.
say nothing weird. I didn't say nothing weird. Like none of his homies saw like that he knows me, and and he just stayed as is. There was nothing there, like mutual respect. But then there was that other one that just recently got busted. I was working Bravo 1 with the bunk beds, and I'm sitting at the podium. I was brand new-ish. And the dude comes up to me, an inmate. Hey, he's like, hey, you went to school in Brawley, huh? And I look up, looked at him, and I didn't recognize him at first because this dude kind of looked shot out, just from being out in the streets and probably doing dope and just gangbanging life.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
face changed. And then he was bald head. Like, I'm like, nah, dude. He's like, yeah, you went to school in Brawley. And then when I looked at his face, I'm like, nah, dude, I think you got the wrong dude because I was new and I didn't know how to talk to inmates. I didn't know what information I can give. I thought that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Right? His homies were watching, like it's just a bad vibe. Like, so I look at the paperwork, the unlock. Yeah, I looked at his last name and I'm like, oh shit, that's him. So I called the sergeant. Again, I was new, right? This is different stages of my career.
Yeah.
I called the sergeant and I'm like, hey, Sarge, like, what do I do if I recognize somebody that I know here from that I grew up with? And he's like, what are you doing recognizing inmates? But he was joking. He's like, oh, I'm just kidding, man. He's like,
how can you not recognize?
do you want, what did he say? Do you want me to move the inmate? He said, do you want me to move the inmate? I'm like, well, you don't got to move the inmate. I said, I'm covered relief anyways. I bounce around. I work different spots in the prison. I'm bound. Like, he's like, is he an issue? I'm like, well, I don't think he's the issue other than he just kind of came up to me. That shit was weird. Like, I really don't want to be sitting here chopping it up with him about my childhood with him.
Yeah. Plus, they shouldn't be talking to an officer by themselves.
No, I think that was going to get him in trouble with his people at that time.
Okay.
Like, they were looking at him kind of weird. His people were looking at him like, hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He didn't understand the gravity of the situation.
Because he was shot out.
And he was young.
Ah.
So if I was 22, he had to been 18.
Oh, yeah, he was young. He shouldn't have been doing that.
So he didn't realize. Anyways, he ended up getting transferred to Ironwood because he kept doing that to different correctional staff members because we're from that small hometown. He kept going up to him and telling him, oh, I know you. And
oh, dang.
nobody wants to be told that. You know what I mean?
No, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. But.
Also, second part of the question is, have you encountered any inmates on the outs that were in your prison during your tenure? And how was that interaction, if any, took place?
Never under my tenure, like never under my direct supervision. Plenty of former inmates, yes. Like, and I can tell, like the tattoos, and especially more so now doing this YouTube thing, they're like, hey, I watch your stuff. And I'm like, what's up? And they'll be like, I did 20 plus years, such and such. I'm like, what year did you get out? This year. I'm like, hey, dude, like, that's what's up, man. Good thing you're out here. Freaking everything's cool. And then it's just, like shake a hand, whatever. And then it's kind of just like, all right, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Cool, you too.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What about, has it been anybody from Indicted?
That my alarm?
Yeah.
That's my alarm?
You gave yourself
shit, your alarm's going off, G.
You gave yourself some time. So what's up, guys? Thank you for coming. Thank you for still being on the live.
Shout out to everyone in the
Shout out to every single one of you guys. I love you guys.
So anybody from Indicted?
Yeah, that you like that. You.
Oh yeah, have you been a CO and a guest on Indicted was in your prison the same time you were, or that you've actually recognized like, oh shit.
There's a lot of dudes out here now, and I try to see were they in there when I was in there. You have from the Strength Cartel, that guy. And I remember looking, he was at the same prison I was at the same time frame.
I don't think I had anybody from the Strength Cartel.
Strength Cartel, I mean, maybe you might have seen him on my pod, or you might have seen me with them.
But I'm saying like that guy, like.
Oh, you're talking about,
like
Big Boy?
Big Boy. Yeah. Him. I'm talking about like people that are out, like famous dudes that are on the YouTube.
I see what you're saying.
I'm trying to think, were they in there when I was there at the same time? Because they talk about the same prisons.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And then at the time when I was a CO, I used to Google their CDCR numbers and look at their housing.
Guess who?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a freaking database, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was a lieutenant. I got nothing but time and a computer and coffee. So I would look, okay, yeah, they were here. And then you look at their pictures because they don't show all their pictures. They're skinny in some of them and they gain weight. And then sometimes they're beat up in their picture. Like, it varies.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. Nothing major. Honestly, nothing major stands out. Like, hey, this person was here.
Well, that's good then.
When it's not a bad thing.
No.
Trust me, there's no bad blood. There's no bad blood, right? I never did freaking nobody dirty, disgusting, where I got to look over my shoulder. Look where I'm at right now. I'm chilling.
That's what I was gonna say right now. Like you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, and both, like obviously the bad blood is for the higher ups, and
Correct. Correct. And I haven't even done the higher ups dirty. I'm just saying the truth. I don't
yeah,
like the truth.
yeah, they don't like the truth.
Is there any other questions from the chat that we should ask?
Before we
Let it
go,
rip. We'll give it like 10 minutes.
yeah, because it's time for me. I gotta feed the babies. I gotta shower him.
What's it like right now? Where are you at in your life right
Yes,
now?
tell us about you right now.
Oh man, I'm tired.
I know.
I'm tired.
I know exactly.
Uh, I have my former manager. He texts me. He's like, "Indicted again. That's what's up." He saw that I had posted. I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm tired." And he's like, "Yeah, I know," but I'm not complaining, and it's something I enjoy doing, right? And it drives me and motivate because I think about it. I'm such a addictive personality, and I got to be doing something. If not, you know what I say, like the idle's hand is the devil's playground. I'll probably get myself into some trouble, right? If
You're not down to go to prison back as an inmate,
He
though?
doesn't,
No?
he probably doesn't even mean in that kind of trouble. I don't think he
I'm
means that
just
kind of
saying, like,
trouble.
if I'm not occupied, then I'm doing something dumb.
Yeah.
Like I gotta stay busy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my daughter's 6 years old. My life revolves around my daughter, to be honest with you. I'm the softball coach for her team. I'm in her life, very active. The documentary Grunt is coming out in February. I know we talked about a new podcast that I'm going to be launching, so I'll talk to you guys afterwards about
Mm-hmm.
some tips on that. Um, to be honest with you, I'm not going to change the script. I'm not going to flip the game. It's just going to be me getting bigger
And bigger and bigger and
and more
bigger.
eyes and more eyes and more eyes.
I know exactly what you mean because I feel the same way. Like,
But you ain't going to see me do nothing wild or
yeah,
fight anybody.
yeah, no,
Or
like,
boxing gloves.
oh yeah,
Nothing.
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
not.
no.
That's not my style.
Yeah, yeah. Like like myself, I'm just gonna continue to do what I'm doing. It works. It
Right?
works, and it keeps me sane, and it keeps me out of trouble.
Ah, it's helping people too. It's helping people.
You know what? That's I love I people always reach out to me like, "Hey, thank you, Negra. We love you. We appreciate what you do. I've gotten sober because of you." Like there's just like I got through my husband, like my son going to jail, like watching
Right.
your show has helped me like understand what he's going through, what I need to do, be there as a mom and just like different things like that. And it's like that's everything to me.
Right.
That's everything to
So,
me. And I never would have thought.
oh, believe me, man, I'm always helping them behind the scenes. Like, I mean, sometimes their loved ones are victimized due to violence behind the prison walls. They're like, hey, this just happened. What are his options? What happens next? I'm like, okay, well, you should probably do this. He should definitely not do that. These are
Mhm.
his options. This is what he has to do. Cool. And probably having a loved one behind the walls, they're probably like priceless to them, knowing like, okay, like
Especially when they're like
I
in
know what's going
danger.
on. Yeah, their life is in danger. Um, but I was gonna say something right now, but I forgot what I was gonna say. But you were right about helping. It's cool.
It feels good, huh? Like I don't know
Yeah.
what it does. I don't even know what happened. I just started with my husband and I like it. It helps me. It's therapy. It's my own
So that's what
therapy.
I was gonna say. So like, we're from California,
Yeah.
right? In California,
Southern California, to be
Southern
precise.
California too. That's to me, that's a different vibe. So,
We're Californians, bro. Relax.
well, I mean, it's a different vibe, right? Live in San Diego, at the beach, the beautiful sun, the weather. But the rest of the world or East Coast, they, they look at California, they don't like it because of the representation of politics, the homelessness, the drugs, the crime, right? And it's like, I'll say this for the first time. I got the idea to do YouTube from former inmates. Literally, they would be. I used to watch, certain channels, and I'm like, damn, these dudes are like, they're doing it, right? And I'm over here working in a prison like a freaking idiot, right? Showing up every day like a clown. um,
If it works, it works.
no, so like, yeah, so I like the fact that we are representing California because, and I had a shirt, I had it made. It says California moves different. People like the West Coast vibe. It's a different vibe. And you got to think about like Death Row Records and uh Snoop, Dre back in the day.
I just think because we have rules. And
I
even if you're not like an actual
I
part of it, like you follow them one form or another, I feel.
I think it's good to have representation of where we live, right? Of proper representation. Not that we're a bunch of liberal hippies that want to do all kind of weird stuff, right? Because that's not the majority of California.
Yeah, no.
That the majority is a silent majority where, we give the people the voice, like, hey, like, we're regular people, we're chill, we're cool. If we have to get down, we get down. But other than that,
Like, leave us, yeah.
we just want to chill,
I
have a
want to
good time.
live, yeah. Just because we look a certain way
And
doesn't
we
mean
help
anything.
people out.
Yeah, not even just that. Like, for example, like me, right now, like I look a certain way. We look
Right.
my people, that follow me,
Right.
all my peoples. We kind of all look a certain way, but we live super normal.
Correct.
We are normal.
And we're humbled by our experiences, meaning we've seen a lot of shit. A lot of people have seen a lot of trauma.
Yeah, like
been a lot of
I
BS.
genuinely live a good life.
Right.
Thank God.
And then I think about, something that sticks out to me is the dudes that did 20 years plus in prison, lifers that got out, right? Because I think about the gratitude that they now have.
Yes.
The gratitude that they now have. And I mention this often on my IG. I'm like, look at how grateful they are.
So then you have these fools that are.
And then you have these other people that have it all. They literally have it all. They have the job, the wife, the car. They have it all, and they're freaking miserable. It's like, hey, dude, just realize it's internal happiness, man. You need everything stripped away from you. And I had everything stripped away from me in the military. I mean, I posted a picture the other day where I'm sleeping on the concrete. That was normal. I'm cool with sleeping on the concrete, right? Eventually you get used to it sucking, and it sucks, but like,
It is what it is.
you learn to appreciate things when you get everything taken from you.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I have comments sometimes and people are like, why do you interview you just interview anybody? And it's like, we're all the same. What do you mean? Just anybody? Like, what makes you like, I don't understand that. Everybody is the same, but we all have a prison experience
There's
of your own. You all have a story. We all have something.
Shout out Brian James in the chat.
He's in there?
Yeah.
What up?
Yes.
What up, Brian? That's when I said Brian, when I just said what I said, I was thinking about you and thinking about like the gratitude, man. You can see it. This dude posts every day, posts on his Instagram, free such and such days. And I'm like, that's what's up. That's what's up. Like, hey, dude, enjoy it. Go get that sun. Go get that beach. Like, freaking enjoy it, man.
Yes.
The world is yours to take. Ain't nobody gonna stop you.
That's right.
Ain't nobody like, dude, handle it.
Like, you survived the worst of the worst and you live your life now.
And it's bad in there. Like, I think we put an understatement, or we don't. It's freaking treacherous in there.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm a girl, obviously. I'm a woman. I've never been in a prison
It's
with
treacherous, man.
men, But
I was watching a video the other day. It said that if you walk if you walk in an area you ain't supposed to be walking, you're gonna get got. Like, and that's the truth. Like, there's designated areas where people can walk and cannot walk, right, per their rules. It's if you don't know the rules of the game, you're gonna get got.
yeah, that's why a lot of fools be getting got. They don't give up. They don't stay focused. Stay focused.
Talk to me about your Vlad interview.
Before I want to go the Vlad interview, I want to talk about respect, right? Respect. Let's talk about, we talk about gratitude. I've never seen respect like on a level 4 GP yard. And I even talked to former inmates. I'm like, hey, these people are wild out here, huh? Like, civilians, they're like, dude, it's out of control. I just want to snatch somebody up. Like, bro, they'll be standing right next to you, like breathing down your neck at the grocery store, all up in your space, stepping on your shoes, not telling you, excuse me. And it's like, dude.
We did a.
Oh my God, that's
people are-
exactly what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
So we did the backpack giveaway, right?
Shout out to Shaka.
Shout out to Shaka. We did the backpack giveaway. We went to Drew Street, my neighborhood. On Saturdays, I guess, Asian people. I don't know what type they were, but they were Asian people. The people were lined up. I literally felt attacked. Like, they were right here trying to pull for me, like here, and I'm like, I almost was like, hey.
Yeah.
But I have self-control.
Right.
And I didn't want to look like that person, like, to myself. Who cares about how everybody else saw me? But I'm like, but there was like 10 of them.
Basically, what she's saying is we had a line for the people that were there for the backpack giveaway with their children and what have you. And I guess at the park they do free giveaways or whatever it is that elderly
Like
people
fruits,
do
yeah.
there. And the elderly Asian people bum rushed us when they seen us busting open boxes. They didn't care about a line or anything, and they would
just
not.
pretended like they didn't understand English. Like, you know damn well you understand.
Whether they did or didn't is
It was so
neither here nor there.
bad.
But
Were they assaulting you?
uh,
It basically felt
almost.
like it. No,
Because
seriously.
they didn't care about what she was saying. They didn't care about what I was saying. There was a couple of individuals that were big, buff, bald, tattooed people telling them to back
Wow.
up,
And they still
and
didn't
they were
move.
just
They didn't budge at
they
all.
did not move until they got a backpack and a binder.
Like they
Really?
did not move.
It was pretty lit.
I was like I was
Oh,
circled.
I get it. It's horrible.
I was like, like I almost wanted to cry. It was
Yeah.
bad.
No, I hear you.
And like I couldn't freaking push them. Like I couldn't push them.
How many were there?
Like a lot.
No,
Like
like 10.
like little old ones. So how am I gonna look
How
pushing
old
these?
do you think they were?
No, like in their 60s, 70s.
60s, 70s?
Yes.
Damn.
No, they were elderly people.
Like backpack. Oh,
What were they doing getting backpacks and binders at 70 years?
for their grandkids.
Oh.
Well, who knows? They didn't really
Well, you know
specify,
how some
but they
people are, they
wanted
just want
their
everything they could get for free.
they wanted their stuff,
That was intense.
and they
bro.
would not budge until I gave them a backpack.
Damn.
It was crazy.
And then once you gave them the backpack, they were
They
just
did.
cool.
Yeah.
Like nothing they
They
did.
just
just-
left.
Or if I didn't give them the combo, they wanted the other piece, like the binder pencil.
That was
combo.
bad. It was
fire.
bad. Yeah. So
Wang says, "I'm Asian, and this is true." LOL.
it was so bad. So bad.
Talk to me about Vlad, though. What was the Vlad interview like? Because I think that's the biggest platform you've been on, correct?
I think so. Yeah,
Vlad TV, fool. The Mecca.
Yeah, yeah. I've watched Vlad, right? Because there's only certain I really don't have the time to watch other podcasts. I'm always putting out my own stuff, but like I've known of Vlad. I've always liked his interviewing style. Kind of like the whole setup, but like I'm good at reading people too. Like I don't know if he wanted to push the interview a certain way. I think my mom watched it. She's like, "Hey, I think he wanted you to go this way, but you were like pushing back." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say." Like,
Yeah, like don't.
I really don't know his political backgrounds or whatever, but I know I took a couple shots like at Newsom or whatever. And in the comments,
You gotta do what you gotta do, bro.
I think I seen like, "Hey, he loves Newsom or he knows all about him," which I'm not a political dude anyways, right? But there was you know, I've never felt bad about anything I've said on an interview, or I've never regretted it. But there's probably something he asked me on there that caught me off guard. And what he asked me is if I've ever killed anybody, and
Damn.
that caught me off guard. Not that I just didn't expect him. I didn't expect that question to come so fast from that angle. I kind of just just vomited information, which I
Like,
probably
hey,
shouldn't have.
yeah, like
But and again, that was a different time. That was a war, because I read the comments, right, and it kind of made me feel like, fuck, dude, like, dude, you don't understand how Iraq was in 2004. Like, it was not fucking black and white. It was not fucking black and white. These insurgents were not wearing uniforms. They were not shooting us straight up. They were hiding. They were running. They were hitting and running. It was guerrilla warfare. Sometimes people got like people got on both freaking sides.
yeah.
But it did make me think like, damn, like fuck, like that was kind of not good.
Yeah, like why would he ask that? Like
Well, and probably for the views, and it wasn't so. I think I've been asked that question before. I just think
of how he asked,
I just
maybe?
think maybe that wasn't the platform to be speaking on certain subjects. Fuck it. You know what I mean? It's kind of just,
Did you say like
no, I answered. Unfortunately, I answered. I mean, in the interview, I told him, yeah, I did. And then I gave a scenario of what transpired. But that stands out to me about the Vlad interview. Other than that, and I never look at people. I never look at the comments, right? But for some reason, sometimes if I do a major podcast interview, I'll go and say, "Hey, what are they saying?" I'm glad that there's a lot of supporters.
but see, like on Indicted, on my lives, they're all my supporters. Like they're all you only get like one or two that's kind of like a dummy, just wants to be an ass.
Right.
But rarely, like I feel like these are my people.
You know what's crazy is when I do major podcasts or a podcast on another channel, I see people pop up on their comment section that said, "I've been watching Hector since the start, day one," and they've never left a comment on my thingy. And I'm like, no, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like I have these people that watch, and they're just kind of like silent watchers. You know what I mean? Like,
Which is great.
That's cool.
Well, they might push like or whatever. You don't know.
No, but what I'm saying is like, wow, I have more support than's actually shown on my channel. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
support elsewhere. And I'm very grateful for that. And just like when I was a supervisor, man, I give credit where credit is due, right? As a sergeant, I wasn't running shit. It's the officers in the building that were working
Hmm.
in the building. Same thing with the YouTube. I'm just the voice piece. I just come out there and tell my experiences, people other experiences. Like
Hmm.
it's the support that everybody else is doing,
Exactly.
pushing, liking, forwarding, sharing. The blessings that they donations that they do. It's like boom, you guys are making it happen,
Yeah.
right? You guys are
Yes.
making it happen. You guys are keeping the machine like well oiled for it to
Hmm.
for it to work.
Yes, that part. That's good.
It's fun.
I like
It's
it.
fun.
What do you got for the people before we clock out, Hector? It's a
Uh,
wrap.
just along the lines of like, yeah, thank you for all you guys. Like, hey, from everywhere, from everybody, from everywhere. Like, I know there's people that have their misconceptions about me. Let me tell you about life, man. Let me tell you about life.
Let's go.
It doesn't matter. You could be the best person in the world. You're always going to have people that hate you, that talk shit about you, that make stuff up about you. And what that is, and trust me, I've done a lot of research, man. People will put their insecurities onto you. They will project their
Hmm.
insecurities onto you. Meaning, when I wanted to leave the prison, I ran it by my dad. And he's not my dad is my dad. He's the best, the best thing ever. But he's like, no, don't leave this prison. You'll be stupid to leave the prison. But that's like an insecurity of him pushing it onto me. Right. And if we live our lives like doing what everybody else wanted us to do, we'd be pretty freaking miserable and never get shit done.
Yeah.
Um, my parents had that mindset, that 80s, 90s mindset. Like, you work for 20 years, 30 years, you shut up, you're miserable, you're married, you
Hmm.
fucking go to work, you do this shit. Nah, I broke that fucking generational curse. I mean, it's not a curse, but you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's ways. Is that wrong? No. But don't you dare tell me that I can't do something else
Like,
or that
no,
I'm not going to succeed in something else.
for sure. My mom says, Cristina, ¿qué vas a hacer once you're done with this? I'm like, Mom, look at Oprah Winfrey. Look at Ellen. Look how old. And that's like,
Snoop Dogg, Cheech and
all
Chong.
they do is what I'm doing.
Right. The Kardashians.
Sí, ¿verdad? And I'm like, yes, this is what I'm going to do. And I see myself doing it for the rest of my life.
Well,
Primeramente Dios.
also, this is what I have for the people, man, especially the young. I mean, I only want to help the younger kids because that's where the future of the generation is, man.
Hmm.
Us that are older, we already know the game,
Yeah,
right? These young kids, they got nobody guiding them.
at all.
And all we have to do is just revert back to how things used to be, right? We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Hey, just respect people, have integrity, honor, loyalty. And I say this having made every mistake there is to make, right? I'm not saying this just like, oh, he's high and mighty. It's like, hey, I've done everything the wrong way first. And I think we have to go backwards to how things used to be.
Yeah.
Um, for the future of our country, man. And I'm not gonna go into a whole
Yeah, because I'm
thing,
not even good with
but you know
all
what I
that.
mean though by
Yeah.
that? Like humanity,
Yeah.
humanity. We're gonna tear each other apart.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Any thoughts anything that you want to ask Hector that you haven't asked him, my dear?
No.
Well, shit. It's been real chat.
That's super real.
Shout out to you, Hector, of course. Thank you very much for your presence, sir. We appreciate your insight being from the other side.
Did you
Oh,
plan
man.
that?
With that being
The
said,
thing is,
shout
he
out
does it. He just
He just
says,
swings it?
yeah.
shout out to the sponsors for his glory for all of the firest jewelry, 18 karat, 24 karat, 14 karat, etc., diamonds, highest quality, best price, most likely, you know what I'm saying? Cali plug for all your exotic fire, you know what I'm saying? Royalty Honey, as you know, shout out to them. Use code NEGRA for a discount on all of your intimate needs. Link in the description. Fatima's Grill Paramount, of course, shout out to them. They are currently under restoration, but they got tacos Las Hueras in the meantime. And of course, shout out to Shockaware. Hector, again, it's been real. Big Negra, Indicted TV. My name is Ali Icon.
Bye, guys. Have a good
Yeah.
night.
A ratos. Visiting is
Stay tuned
over.
for Sunday as well, guys.
Visiting is over. Sunday,
hour's over.
Sunday at 11:30. Sunday at 11:30. New episode drops. But